been sharp at times, very good. The problem is this: they cannot get the running game going. Number 9, Matt Walter, is their nominee for the Heck Crichton as CIS Player of the Year. He was Player of the Year in Canada West. Had a fantastic season, but he is not fooling Laval at all today.
Yeah, they actually are a spread type of offense, but they bring in the fullback here and go I-back. You know what? We talked about it. What line's going to control it right now? Laval, they know Calgary's going to have to throw the ball, get back in the game, so they're going to tee it up and come after poor Deke Jr. right now.
Etienne Legade and that D-line for Laval licking their chops. 2nd down and 6. Deke Jr. under center. Play action to Walters. The line has been penetrated, and that was never going to have a chance. 2 guys came in free, and Jr. just had to let it go.
We talked about that line and protection, right? So they have their nickel package in, 6 DBs with 94. Gilbert comes in free, basically. Deke Jr. does a great job of getting rid of the ball instead of taking a loss, but that's too easy. It's way too easy for these guys.
It has been easy for Laval. 29-zip through 1 quarter. Time for a break. More live from Quebec City after this on The Score.
The home of university sport in Canada is the CIS. From Victoria to St. John's, Canadian inter-university sport is the place to compete in some of the biggest and most televised tournaments in the country. Earn a degree while training in the finest facilities across Canada. Compete in national championships for men and women's basketball, volleyball, hockey, football, and more. The CIS, the experience of a lifetime.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with unbeatable traction to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
Stamps and Lions Western final. We pick this one up in the 4th quarter. BC trailing by 4 when Buck Pierce throws the interception to the waiting hands of Brandon Browner. 22-18 would be your final.
Welcome back, everybody, to Quebec City. The road to the Vanier Cup continues right after us with the Mitchell Bowl. We'll head live to London, Ontario and TD Waterhouse Stadium for St. Mary's and Western. That's coming up on The Score later this afternoon. Punt team out again for the Dinos. They are down 29-6. They're in I field, deep in his own end. The kick, not a bad one. Fioli Godino corrals it at the 50. Up the middle, makes a few more gains. And they will mark him down at the Laval 53-yard line as the Laval Rouge have a really tough act to follow in the 2nd quarter. They were absolutely perfect over the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, they definitely were. You know, we talking about the special teams coach before the game at Calgary. They want to directionally punt, get the ball away from guys, but they keep punting to Dino, and I think they need to get strategy changes so that, because this man's twice has almost broken it for 6 points.
You could argue Godino's worked as hard as anyone today with the receptions he's made and the work on special teams. First down now for that gentleman, Benoit Groux, favored to win the Heck Crichton as Player of the Year next week during Vanier Cup week. The handoff to Sebastien Levesque. Levesque up the middle. That's good enough for a first down. And then some. The speed on this kid is incredible. Let's take a look at the first quarter numbers. And you may not see anything like this again. Brought to you by Desjardins. Utter and complete domination.
Yeah, definitely. You look at this and you look at the passing yards, 166 yards. Rushing yards, you know, even. time possession even, but the score, the first downs, Laval has hit it with a big play, right? And they average over 515 yards per game on offense.
1st and 10, the handoff. Sebastian Levesque off tackle, eludes the first tackler. He's getting by the first guy now consistently. That is bad news for Calgary. The mark looks good enough for a first down as the Rouge are now going to start to grind this thing out, a little ground and pound, Laval style.
Yeah, that offensive line, that right side of the offensive line does a great job of sealing it. Get Levesque to the outside, right? Here comes the smash and dash we talked about. Here comes the smash part. Cesar Sanchez into the short yardage as well.
So they did not give him that first down. And out comes the backup quarterback, Cesar Hernandez Sanchez. His job will be to fall over graciously. Under center, finds a seam he needs, gets licked there at the end by John Waldy, right half of the Dinos, but gets the yard needed. His job is done. He'll take a seat.
Definitely do. You know what? Calgary needs to commit to something. This is a hard hit right here. I didn't think he was going to get up, hit him in the head. But Calgary needs to commit to stopping something. They need to stop the pass. They need to stop the run. They need to stop something and make it a little more one-dimensional because Laval's having their way on offense either way.
The Laval Rouge are #1 offense in the country. Josh McDonald and that Dinos defensive front have quite the task ahead of him because this gentleman, Grew, is feeling it. 1st and 10 inside the Dinos 30. Out wide, it is caught in the flat. Matthew Picard, 3rd-year man from Quebec City. He makes the reception, the slot back, picks some more yards. That'll set up a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, that's why, we talk about Benoit Grew, how quickly he gets rid of the ball there. Less than 1 second, pitch and catch basically. He's only been sacked 6 times this year. Reason being he gets rid of the ball quickly. Second, that great O-line of his.
When you give him time, Benoit Grew is going to make you pay. This is his 4th year, and Glenn Constantine loving the maturity that he has seen in Benoit Grew. The handoff, Sebastian Levesque. He is met at the line in a big way by Jeff Paymont, number 44, linebacker, 3rd-year kid for Calgary. And they're going to have to key up for Levesque, it looks like, for the rest of the day. He's going to get some carries.
Yeah, it definitely does. But this is what Calgary needed to do, right? They stopped him, controlled him to a field goal. That's a positive for Calgary right now.
Definitely.
A good defensive stand right there. You never know. And I know Milo's a great kicker, but you never know with the wind and things like that. May make it or may not.
So this is the tragedy for Calgary. You finally stop Laval, and out comes a kid who kicked more field goals during the regular season than anyone in CIS history, Christopher Milo. 25 for 32, a 78% success rate. It is up, and it is good with the wind blowing in from the west. Milo tacks on 3 more. It's 32-zip. More live from Laval after this.
You're going to need a wheelman. My job is to get you in. Your job is to drive. You're in deep. Exactly where I want you to be.
Need for Speed Undercover. Rated T for Teen. Now $1.99.
A capacity crowd of about 15,000 here at Pep Stadium, or as they call it around here, Stade Peps.
Your French is very good.
Thank you. It's been good all along. I can show off now. Early 2nd quarter, Dinos get the ball back after a Christopher Milo field goal made it 33-zip. Play action, Deke Jr. and Etienne Legaret. Even when you hold him, you can't stop this kid.
That's why he's the Metros nominee. He does a great job there. Laval only rushes 4 guys, and they get to the quarterback. Not a great start. This is what we talked about. They have 2 guys on, they hold him, and he gets through. That's why he's a top CFL prospect. So this young man will be playing football and making some money next year in the CFL.
I think some pro line will have a problem with that as well. He was literally being held as he made that sack. That's Superman stuff. Legaret, currently the 5th-ranked prospect in all Canadian University football. They hand it off to Matt Walter, and Walter goes nowhere on 2nd down. And that front seven for Laval are having a great time. Mathieu Perron making the tackle there.
Let me tell you how easy it is to play defense if you got a great front four. Because now you know those four guys can get pressure. They can make the tackle on run plays. Your DBs, linebackers, you can do tons of different schemes and things like that. They held that young man with two guys, not even one. He still got to the quarterback. Deke Jr. and experience got to feel that pressure, move around the pocket, you know, and try to get rid of the football.
Back to receive it, Victor Tremblay, along with Fioli Godino. Aaron Ifield back out, punt standing at his own 10. Kick is up, and considering the wind, these kickers are doing a heck of a job today. Fioli Godino corrals it. He's at the 50. He is met, we think. Cuts left, still going. Loses a few yards on that ambitious maneuver. They take him down at midfield, and that is where Benoit Gros and the Laval offense will come out and try and improve on a 32-0 lead here in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. Those are the numbers for Gros, 7 of 8, which really should be no surprise whatsoever considering his 75% completion percentage in the regular season. I really don't think we can say that stat enough, Larry.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm surprised about is the big plays Laval has hit. You know, everybody talks about 75% when you're 75% pass, usually you're dinking and dunking and things like that. That's what Gros known for. They come out though and they throw the ball downfield today. I think they surprised Calgary.
Ball thrown 54. He looks left. He is off. Benoit Gros using his feet. 50, 45, 40. And he is finally met by Digio DeWole. After a big gain, Benoit Gros killed him with his arm and now doing it with his legs.
Yeah, you know, this is what I'm talking about, great coaching, right? Gros steps back, feels the pressure a little bit, doesn't see anything downfield, doesn't, you know what, look at that, even switches the ball to the left hand. That's great coaching. That's what the difference of Laval and some of the other programs across the country. You know, they have 5 full-time coaches. They have their own strength coach for their own football team in Canada. You rarely get that. You know, Glenn Constantine's done a great job assembling that staff.
Constantine has been very happy with the way Gros has matured. Hand off to Sebastian Levesque up the gut. That'll be a short 3-yard gain for the first-year man out of Montreal.
You know, they're committing. Matt Garone was in the backfield there again, misses the tackle. He's done that twice so far in this game. They're committing that halfback down into the box, basically. We're talking 8 men into the box to stop that run. That's when those big plays happen to Laval. A good coach told me one day, there's 4 big plays in a football game. You got to hit it. I think Laval's hit them all already.
Yes, they have Andrew Obrecht in that D-line for the Dinos doing everything in their power, but this is an extremely difficult task in very hostile conditions. 2nd and 6. Gros, man open over the middle. He hits it. Fioli Godino eludes 3 tacklers, and they mark him down just shy of the end zone. It looked for a moment like he was going to make his way in for one of the most spectacular catches of the season. They mark him at the 1, but Laval continue to move that ball.
What a great read, what a great throw. They go into 30 defense, 3D lineman, throws it down the seam because they go into cover 2, which means they get onto the halves. The middle of the field is where it's open. They got to jam that receiver. Got to push them outside the linebacker, not inside, because that's where the help is. On the outside where those halfbacks are. We talk about cover 2, we talk about the 2 safeties. Safety goes half the field, the other halfback takes care of the other half. You got to protect the middle of the football field on cover 2.
Fioli Godino nearly 800 yards receiving. First in the CIS, looking into the end zone is Benoit Gros, but that is incomplete. Going to his meal ticket there, Fioli Godino passes, drops, it's up a 2nd and goal.
You know what? Even though he didn't throw a great football, that was just too easy. Way too easy, right? You got press coverage. Godino does just basically an in and out smash route. If it wasn't for Gros' poor throw, that's another touchdown.
Correction on the pass, the backup Cesar Hernandez Sanchez was in short yardage. He trying to throw for the touchdown. Everyone trying to get in on the act right now for Laval.
I actually think he actually audible to that because he gave him a little nod at the line of scrimmage.
You think he took the initiative on that, did you? Sanchez still in there, native of Mexico. Takes the hand. Rouge, a touchdown.
Tough for Calgary, right? You got to stop Benoit Gros, and he's in the game. Then you get Sanchez, who can run the ball like Tebow style, walks into the end zone right now. Calgary, you know what? The score is out of control right now. Blake needs to regroup these young men, get them back and focused into this football game.
Halftime cannot come soon enough for Blake Nill And Calgary, Christopher Milo, the PAT is GOOD. 8:29 left in the half. The Laval Rouge are putting on a show live on the Score television network.
Crown Royal. Long live the noble spirit. You realize your view of the world is enhanced when you share perspectives with others over a Guinness. Guinness, it's ready for you.
Introducing Braun Series 7, the world's first shaver with pulsonic technology. Over 10,000 micropulses per minute give you incredibly smooth skin. The Series 7, one of Braun's perfectly smooth gifts.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with a rugged suspension to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
Introducing Braun Series 7, the world's first shaver with pulsonic technology. Over 10,000 micropulses per minute give you incredibly smooth skin. The Series 7, one of Braun's perfectly smooth gifts.
When you have a headache, trust Tylenol Rapid Release so you can get back to normal. Whatever your normal is. Tylenol Rapid Release gel caps dissolve quickly and relieve your pain fast. Tylenol Rapid Release. Get back to normal. Whatever your normal is.
Giving the GMC Sierra more power doesn't make it professional grade. Giving it 315 horsepower while making it the most fuel-efficient 4x4 full-size pickup does. The GMC Sierra. We gave it outstanding power. We made it more fuel-efficient. We examined everything and overlooked nothing. Then backed it with the best coverage in Canada. That's professional grade.
Yeah, man. The Dinos defense trying to figure something out. They can't even stop the backup quarterback right now. No slight to you though, Caesar. What is it like right now? I mean, did you guys expect a blowout like this?
Well, we had a hell of a start, so we've been working hard for this, like during this year. So we had still the game last year against St. Mary's, and we lost over there. So we had that in mind. So we're gonna continue working and keep it up just for the next level to next week.
Benoit Gros just came over and gave you some props. What's it been like for you watching him complete 75% of his passes in CIS?
I mean, he's the king of this offense. You know, 75%. It's a new record. So I've been learning a lot for this guy. So it's pretty excellent, you know.
Thanks a lot. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Glenn, thank you very much. Gros may be the king, but all hail Caesar. He's the latest to get on the Score. This is the kickoff that just happened, and the Calgary Dinos get filled on special teams, putting them in a precarious position deep in their own end with 8 and change to go in half number 1. Deke Jr., first and 10. Walter in the backfield, looks right, finds a man in the flat. It's Parker, Anthony Parker, the slot back. Good pickup. That's a 7-yard gain for Deke Jr. And it must be said, as a man is down for Laval, Deke Jr. has had himself a decent afternoon.
Yeah, they wanted to put him in good situations. What they did, they came out in what we call a 4-1 set. They come out in a 4-1 set. What happens then is Laval needs to show their defense. They go backside man-to-man. They throw the bubble screen to one of those guys named Anthony Parker. We talked about, you know, one of their more exciting players. There it comes out. Parker comes downhill. There's a tackle right there.
Your side number 4, that's Samuel Lajoie. He looks like he took a knee in the sternum or in the stomach. Yeah. And it looks like it may just be winded as well, Larry. Could that be
it definitely does right now.
Samuel Lajoie, 4th-year kid out of St. Augustine, Quebec, 6 foot 188.
But the scary thing with Laval is they'll just replace him right now with another talented football player.
Yeah, Dominic Noel is the backup at left corner, and they think very highly of him. There you see members of that offense taking a break as they're still working on Lajoie. Let's take one more look at that tackle and focus left side of your screen, number 4 of Laval. Where does he take this knee? Right in the left side.
Yeah.
That'll smart on a day like this.
Yeah. Looks like he should be okay.
We're going to take a timeout as well. More live from Quebec City after this. University Rush, live on the Score.
Wilson, the only football on the field for all universities in Canada. Wilson is proud to support another great season of football leading up to the Vanier Cup. Locally made and locally played, your #1 choice in football. Wilson, the brand of the pros and all university play in Canada. Wilson, the official ball of the OUA.
Welcome back. It's a typical November Canadian afternoon. Great for football. Not great if you're Calgary. They are not having a fun afternoon at all. They are down by a lot as halftime approaches. 2nd down and 3 for Deke Jr. The handoff. Looking off tackle right side. Matt Walter with the carry, but he is met. Kelly Hilaire. We call his name for the first time today. One of many Rouge in on that tackle. And it is going to be close to a first down for Calgary. They may have to bring out the sticks.
Now, we talked about whose big dogs will show up. They came out with a formation there with 4 guys in the backfield that ran behind them. Hilaire does a great job scraping through the hole. 3rd down, big play. What's Blake got to lose right now?
Calgary just took a time out to think about it. Blake Neal's thinking about it as well. All right, so let's think about it here, Larry. You're down 39-0. It's 3rd down. You're at your own 20. Do you go for it?
No, not 3rd and 2 the way you're playing right now. You haven't showed that you can gain 2 yards running the football right now. I think you need to kick the ball. Your defense has been on the field a lot, but you got to take the odds right now, and hopefully your defense steps up. What I think Calgary needs to do is start formationing when I talk about Laval's defense. They came out on that first down play. They came out what we call a 4-1 set, and they out-formationed them. Gained positive yards on first down, made it 2nd and 2, right? Come back with that play action or something like that right now, because they're a good play action football team, and get that first down. This Laval defense, trying to stick it up there. Evidently, it's not working today.
They did think about going for it on 3rd and 2 at their own 20, but sanity has prevailed, as Larry suggested it might. So out comes kicker Aaron Ifield again to punt, standing at his own 5. Back to receive it, Victor Tremblay and Julian Fioli-Godino. Kick is up right in the hands of Godino. He's at the 50, up the middle. He cuts right. He's got a little bit of room if he can get the edge. This is another 10 yards at least. He got those 10 yards. And again, great field position for an offense that frankly doesn't need great field position.
I'm bewildered why they still kick to this young man right now. They talked about it before the game. They're going to do positional punts, get it away from Godino, who's the top returner. He's 3 arm tackles away from breaking these things. They need to punt to the other guy, punt it out of bounds, do something, but you can't give Laval the ball on the 30-yard line and ask your defense to stop them. You're in Milo's field goal range right now. He was kicking 55-yarders into this win earlier.
Fioli-Godino. No rest for the wicked. That is his day today. Approaching 100 yards and a touchdown and some solid returns on special teams. Sebastian Levesque takes the handoff, but he is corralled in the backfield by Julian Simmerling, 3rd-year man out of West Vancouver. Nice play by that front 7 of Calgary.
The Sam linebacker, Julian, does a nice job right there, containing him and bringing down Levesque. He gets around that horn. Talk about that edge. That's what Blake Mills talked about. He's got to contain Levesque inside. Bring your boys, bring the rally troops inside where they can help you.
Sebastian Levesque, in his first year, did not dress for the first 6 games because, quite frankly, the coaches thought he was weak in a lot of areas, but he was busted out over the last 5 weeks. Quick hit over the middle, completed pass. Benoit Gru finds Matthew Picard, the slot back, playing in his hometown today at Quebec City like he normally does. That's good enough for a first down and an injury for the Dinos.
Here we go. We got what we call an under route, a dig over top and a post. Benoit Gru sees the under, it's covered. Here comes that dig, wide open, safety's deep. That's the read. That's why Benoit Gru throws at 75%. Here's that dig, here's that in right behind it. He sees that, goes over top. It's a 3-layer pass play, basically.
The block from was very good.
We talked about that. You didn't play until week 6 because as a running back, you're going to find holes, but you need to protect your quarterback. That freshman's grown up in the last few weeks and is doing a hell of a job of pass blocking.
Injury on the field for the Calgary Dinos. Number 24, John Waldy, who was in on that tackle made by Matthew Picard. And he is being held to his feet.
That's a big blow if they don't get him because he's an all-conference player as well, too.
25 tackles this season. He's from Victoria. This is his final season. 2 picks, a sack, and one of the real leaders of that Calgary secondary.
Yeah, I'm talking to Calgary coaches before the game. The last 3 football games, they said they have had no injuries. The trainers haven't even been on the field once, so hopefully that young man can get back into the football game and help out his defense.
1st and 10 for Laval, looking to add to a rather impressive lead. The handoff up the middle to Guillaume Allard-Camius. And he is taken down after a gain of 6. Sebastian Levesque getting this play off. Some of the hats coming off down in that field they're hitting. That's Andrew Obrecht putting his cap back on.
Yeah, we talk about he's the smash of the offense, Camius. They run behind that right side of the line. Brodeur Jourdain and Béargent. Probably Béargent, Coach Constantine thinks is the best O-lineman prospect he's ever had here at Laval, that right side tackle. And you got Brodeur Jourdain, who's 309 and 335. Wouldn't you want to run against behind those guys?
I'd run behind anyone 335. And Benoit Drew is glad to have him out of the shotgun to hand off Guillaume Allard-Camius. Oh, he is stuck late after a few whistles had already gone, I may add. So may we see a chippy aspect of this game develop as we go? We'll have to wait and see. That is certainly a bit of a fire starter. A hit when a whistle is clearly blown. Check out the end of this play. Guillaume Allard-Camius. And by this point, the whistle had gone. Watch for the pop in late. Oh, that is a stick. That is a stick indeed. Brett Ferguson coming in at the end.
But they did stick him, but he still stayed positive. He gained positive yards and fell into the end zone.
Backed up after the penalty. 2nd down now for Laval. Grew under center, drops back. Some good pressure, but he hits over the middle. It's completed. Short, however, for the 1st down. Matthew Beauvais makes the catch. More laundry on the field. Another flag. And we'll see which way this one goes. But how about Matthew Beauvais having himself a day?
Yeah, it comes across on that crosser or a drag route we call it, but I think we're going to get a horse collar call here or a face mask. Macaron's getting picked on a little bit right here. He's been chasing receivers all across the field. Grew actually had a wide open post route there behind it as well, and that cover 0 scheme.
Well played, Mr. Justanis.
You don't want to give Laval any more chances.
Necessary roughness. Calgary. Face mask. Half the distance. First up.
So half the distance. They do make it a face mask to Matt Groen, the left half, 4th-year player out of Lethbridge. This Calgary defense has been asked a lot of questions today, and they haven't given him too many penalties, to be fair about it, but still, this is the end result. And the end result of this drive is another Laval touchdown. Guillaume Allard-Camius continues the route.
We talk about that great O-line, right? We talked about that right side, those 3 left guard center, Turgeon, Gagne, and Brodeur Jourdain, all conference, but they come back for Camius right beside that big offensive line on the right side, Powell in. He's the smash we talk, Coach Constantine talks about him being the smash and Levesque being the dash, and what a 1-2 punch they have here at Laval.
Christopher Milo to make it 46-0. It's good. Milo's had a lot of work today on extra points. He's got that down pat. Interesting moment here. Blake Nill, knowing where his team stands, obviously. It's more about teaching now, isn't it, Larry? It's more about the experience and taking something away from it.
Talking to Coach Nill, right? He talked about where he wanted this program to go. Want to get him the playoffs this year, hopefully win a game and compete. They got to this point. He knows to be the best, you got to go play the best. And to be the best, you got to beat the best. Maybe not today, but he's got to play the best and learn from this. They're a young football team, and they can take this experience next year with them.
Always love a Ric Flair quote in the broadcast. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, the men are from Laval. Allard-Camius capping that last drive. Camius in the regular season had 5 touchdowns, the fourth-year man to go with 389 yards. And one of a number of running backs that head coach Glenn Constantine has liked to use in and out this season. Likes to keep him fresh in that backfield.
Yeah, definitely. We look at Sebastian Uteck, and he's third on our depth chart right now, and he runs for over 260 yards last week. He's doing a great job this week. Well, I'm more impressed with Uteck is his pass blocking. He's giving Rouge that time. Calgary's trying to bring the extra guys, bring those extra guys into the box, the halfback and the safety, but he's doing a great job of picking them up. So, you know, Blake Mill, I've known him for a long time. He's a great coach and he's a great motivator. So hopefully he can get this team, you know, some positive things. You know, you got to look at it. You got to break it down. Instead of scoring 7, you got to think, okay, we got to get our first down and things like that. That's what we need to get these guys. Duke Jr., you know what? He's done a good job. Controlling
the kickoff being returned by Anthony Parker. Parker takes it to Calgary's own 40-yard line. And that's where Deke Jr. will come out and set up. Jr. has completed a few passes today. He's looking to do a little bit more to get the confidence up and running. Here's a look at the return.
That's a nice return by Parker. Right? He's an electrifying football player. Gets some good field position, though. This is a good start for Calgary. There's that positive, that one positive. Now Blake will teach those young men. There's the first positive. Let's build on that. They go in a 4-1 set. This is where they had success before. Brings that halfback over.
First down for Calgary, out in the flat. Looking for his receiver, can't find him. And it was Matt Walter, the intended target, just a little bit ahead of him. That'll be a 2nd and 10 for the Dinos.
Yeah, I like the idea of coming out in that 4-1 set, swing it out to Matt Walter. The one thing Calgary hasn't done yet is they haven't taken a shot downfield, right? Those DBs are sitting downhill, coming downhill, and Calgary needs to go downfield once or twice here just to loosen them up. Hopefully they get enough protection. I think that's the other issue that they have to worry about with that front 4.
I think at this point of the game, that's a legitimate point. Larry, why not? Take a shot downfield, 2nd and 10. They still keep it rather conservative. It's Walter in the flat, but he was just swarmed immediately. Maxime Berube, among others, in on that stop. Steve Landry also there. But they aren't keeping it conservative. They're sticking to that game plan, Larry.
Yeah, they are. But what Laval does great is rally to the football and make tackles. Look at that. 4 guys who are rallying the football and make the tackle. You know, they don't miss tackles. You know, I don't call them boring type of defense or things like that. They're a base type of defense. They do the base very, very well. They tackle. They play their schemes very well. They don't make mistakes. Their DBs come downhill and prevent the big gains.
Standing back at his own 30, Aaron Ifield. It's a fake. Downfield at the 40. Excellent play call. He wanted something a little different. Jordan Flegel on the fake. And considering the scoreline the way it is, why not?
Love the call by Blake Mill. There's that positive, right? Good kick return there. Couple passes. Come with the fake punt. Great job. A direct snap to him. You know, comes on that trap. Big hole down the middle. Great football play.
Jordan Flegel with the carry. And that will put the ball inside Laval territory for the first time today. Or one of the first few times today. It seems like it's the first time today. Deke Jr., as soon as he turned around, the Rouge were waiting for him. He fumbled and recovered, but the offensive line could not stand up to the Calgary Dinos, or to the Laval Rouge at that point, and they got in there quick on Deke.
I definitely did. They were going to try to slip flanker screen fake, coming out there and had a guy downfield, but Laval actually comes to 4 guys, gets pressure. They didn't fool anybody either. That slip screen wouldn't have worked because they had 2 guys deep covering the slip screen receiver.
Jean-Philippe Gilbert, 4th-year kid at St. Victor de Beauce. He had 2.5 sacks in the season. The problem is when they get that half step, it seems this defensive front, Larry, forget it. Yeah, you're going to have to hold him or let him go.
That was the concern of Blake Mill, right? He has a big O-line with 3 first-year kids.
Okay. They're adding 5 seconds to the clock. Some slight scoreboard configurations happening here late in quarter number 2. The Dinos at this point hoping they can make some scoreboard changes as well. They have added some time on the clock. Referee's asking for 3 more seconds, currently 2:53. He wants 2:56 and will not be happy.
So he gets 3 minutes.
So we get 3 minutes, and now he wants to work it down I believe, to 256. The drama here in Quebec City. We have 256. Everybody's happy. Steve Jr. saying, you gotta be kidding me. We got some momentum going. We're gonna stop for this. He might not want the time, actually. Second down and a lot. Duke Jr. corralled. Etienne Legare. They're just pinning their ears back and they're coming.
Yeah, they definitely are. You know, Calgary goes in a 4-1 set. Deke's got to see that he's got man-to-man coverage to the boundary. Legare does a great job. They actually bring 5 guys there, do a stunt, gets inside. That's why that young man's going to be playing football for a long time in the CFL.
We can almost guarantee you will hear Etienne Legare's name called in round 1 of next year's Canadian Football League draft. He is big time. 6'4", 265, 6.5 sacks in the Quebec Conference this season. That's second in the league. Back comes out Aaron Ifield for the punt. It's short, it wobbles, sits there. Victor Tremblay, that'll be no yards, picks it up at the 25. And he is taken down by Jeff Paymont, working special teams today. We are at around the 3-minute warning. It's all Laval here in Quebec City. More live on The Score after this.
Buddy, my family loves Tiger, especially my daughter.
I love you.
And with all that attention, he gets a lot of hair all over the house.
Tiger!
That's why I got the Infinity Pet Light vacuum from Canadian Tire.
Come out wherever you are.
It's not like my old vacuum. It never loses suction. And it only weighs about 15 pounds, so it goes wherever Tiger goes.
Tiger, where are you?
And these days, that's everywhere my daughter isn't.
The Infinity Pet Light Vacuum by Shark, only at Canadian Tire.
At last, my love has come along.
Power and cleanliness, together at last. The all-new TDI Clean Diesel from Volkswagen. We've done the unthinkable.
Are over.
Focus on functionality.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with unbeatable traction to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
Leafs and Canucks in Vancouver. Canucks scored 2 second-period goals on just 3 shots. In fact, they were outshot in this game 30-15, but still go on to win it by a final of 4-2.
The Laval Rouge are dominating on both sides of the ball. On the defensive end, it's this kid, Etienne Legare, who was bringing it, and he's brought it all season.
Yeah, I definitely has. I don't think he's a kid, though. I think he's a man playing among boys right now, as you can see this game against Concordia. What I really like about him, he has all the tools, right? Speed rush, bull rush, does everything on defense. And the other great thing he does is he can actually play the run well at the point of attack.
This is live action now. Handoff up the middle. Maxime Ballon, the third running back on the depth chart, is up the gut as we work our way down to halftime. Andrew Obricht in that D-line giving up a first down on that. And they are all getting touches currently for the Laval Rouge.
Yeah, with unnecessary roughness there on Calgary, gives them another 15 yards. This team's too good to give penalties and yardage away to them.
And to Calgary's credit, the score has not gotten to where it was because of penalties and turnovers. Laval have earned everything they've got.
Oh yeah, Laval's athletes are unbelievable. The speed, the size of them. I think Calgary's just, I think they're still in the Western time zone right now.
Run stop there after a 5-yard gain. You mentioned the time zone, and head coach Blake Neal of Calgary said that all week he got his kids up early to get them on the clock. They were watching film by about 7:30 Mountain Time, and he wanted them to be ready for this game today.
Yeah, looking at that nice play by the Calgary defense, but you're right, you wake them up early, but I think there's a difference of watching film at 7 a.m. and playing against the top football team in the country with 15,000 fans screaming at you. There's a big difference you fly across the country as well, too, because you're waking up in your own bed, not in a different hotel.
2nd down and 5. Grew out of the shotgun, looking left. Man over the middle. He is stuck. Quick hit. Fioli Godino with the reception. But this is a tough young man. Great hands. Keeps it. 1st down, Laval.
Yeah, another nice route there, right? Godino comes underneath. Basically jams off that receiver. Great catch on that stick, and still gains 5 yards after. But Grew does a nice job. Sees the drag, wasn't there. Comes to the 2nd receiver at the different level and sticks it in there.
Canada West Defensive Player of the Year linebacker Andrea Bonaventura with that late stick. He can hit. You normally feel it when he does, but not before they got the 1st down. Handoff up the middle again. Maxime Ballon. 3rd on the depth chart for running backs. Up the middle, picks up a few yards, continuing to wind the clock down. 1:30 to go in half number 1 of the 2008 Uteck Bowl.
Yeah, I think what's surprising, Calgary too. We talked about the Laval offensive line, the great running backs they have. Really, they've done a pretty good job against the running backs. With the pass game, Benoit Rouge just picked them apart. The big plays, you know, they had those big plays. That first play was a great call by the offense coordinator Laval. Set the tone of the football game.
Allard Camius in the backfield. He gets the handoff on a quick draw, but the defense waiting for him there. Josh McDonald, defensive end, among the tacklers.
Yeah, Josh does a good job, but they bring what they call a run blitz. They bring James Green downhill. He'll come in number 1 here, make the initial contact, and Calgary does a nice job right there of shutting them down on 1st down.
Andrew Obrick also in on the tackle. We do have a penalty on the play, however.
Looks like it's going to be offside on Calgary on James Green, number 1.
Rouge, offside. Calgary, 5-yard penalty. You get 2nd down.
Well, we now know why he got there so quick.
He's fast, but not that fast.
Off comes Josh McDonald, 5th man out of Little Pond PEI. Patrick Kalin and company getting ready for a 2nd and about 3. Camios in the backfield, play action, rolling left. Benoit Grew looking for the intended target, and he found him. The Dinos secondary are irate. They think that was not at all a catch, but they give it to him. Another 1st down for Laval, but the Dinos are a little cheesed.
That was a nice play there. Nice right by Godino again. Great football. Comes back to the football. That's the coaching we talk about. Great receivers come back to the football. Grew does a nice job. We have cover 0. They're bringing everybody. He gets outside of the pocket, aborts what we call the run. The fake, gets outside, puts it down lower. Only his guy can get the football.
Brett Ferguson may have had a point. It looked on the last replay like the nose of the football may have touched the ground, but I digress. They give him the catch, and the drive continues. There's Guillaume Allard Camius.
Needless to say, though, that the offside, they had him stop on that 2nd down. They get an offside now, and now they get the ball. You know, they're just too good to give them 2nd chances, right? I don't even know if Laval's even had a penalty today.
They've been very disciplined, and Benoit Grew has been at the heart of that disciplined play, much like they've been all season. Remember, this is a Laval team that have played 10 games this year and have won 10 games, and they were number 1 in the polls front to back for the 3rd time in 4 years. This is a team that knows how to get it done, and they have done it in a very impressive way over the first 2 quarters. 2nd down and 7, the handoff to Camius. Big stick near side. Andrea Bonaventura getting a little bit angry. You could hear that one clean. Camius taken down. That'll set up 3rd down. Victory of sorts, a moral victory for the Calgary defense as the kicking team comes out for Laval.
Yeah, Blake Neal can use that going in halftime, another coaching point, right? He needs to regroup the troops. Look at it as, you know what, we're down 46-0 right now, maybe 49. Regroup, get some positives in that 2nd half, score some points, and move the ball.
As we see Christopher Milo get ready to kick this to make it 49-0 potentially, what specifically do you tell these kids at halftime?
I've never been down 49-0, so it's very difficult to say.
Hands down.
You know what, their heads are going to be down and things like that. He's going to have to teach them to compete. You know what, you're here, you got 30 more minutes, you need to compete, you know, and grow up basically right now in 30 minutes. because next year they return a lot of these young men back. So this is a building block for them, you know. And Deke Jr., what I like to see out of Calgary's offense is throw the ball downfield more. I think you need to open up that secondary to Laval, even just take some shots, you know, good or bad, you just need to open it up.
Christopher Milo hitting another field goal today. Again, he hit 25 in the regular season. First time ever a kicker has done that in CIS football, to up it to 49-0. It is now 15.6 seconds to go on the clock. We are on the verge of halftime. Deke Jr. 1st and 10, own 35. In the hands of Steve Landry. And his halftime just got a little more disappointing. He should have had a pick there.
Deke Jr. got lucky there, right? He had an overcrossing right behind number 35 there, and Deke tried squeezing it in there. But you know, I like what Calgary did here, though. They rolled him out, get him read half the field, right? But linebacker does a nice job, 35, scraping and filling that zone. That's what Laval's taught. You see that? They're not covering what I call cover grass. They're looking up receivers, looking for people. He sees that, stops on a dime, looks back, the ball's thrown to him.
Nathan Colhorn was the intended target on the last play. Again, they go over the middle, and the pass is caught by Anthony Woodson. Woodson has enough for a first down. A slight pick-me-up for the Calgary Dinos as we sit 3.1 seconds away from halftime.
Yeah, this is the guy they got to get the ball. You know, he's 18 years old, he's electrifying, he's more of a Reggie Bush type. Give him the ball in open space. That's his first catch of the game. We need to somehow figure out, Calgary needs to figure out how to get Woodson, Walter, and Parker the ball in open space, even if it's flanker screens or screens of some sort. Get these playmakers the football, because good things happen when those guys get the rock.
Benoit Gru has a lot to smile about after a first half to remember. What you're seeing here is the top offense in CIS football at its peak. 49 first half points.
You know,
that is special.
It's interesting, as we saw Benoit Gru's father-in-law before the game. He was concerned because Benoit does not like to throw the football in the rain. Ball's a little wet. It's interesting, wears gloves. Hasn't affected him. You know, I really think that first play of the game, what a great play call. Set the tone, you know. Everybody expects a run or a short pass by Gru, and he comes out with a wheel route.
And lucky for everyone involved, the rain factor, as we've gone on this afternoon, has diminished slightly. It's been more windy than raining, luckily for both quarterbacks in this game. 3.1 to go in the half. 1st and 10 Dinos. Deke Jr. takes a snap, looks left, has a bit of time, not a lot. He's taken down, ball is on the turf, and it's live, and it's a lateral. Matthew Perron, he keeps going. They were going for more with Laval. A fumble and a recovery and a decent return for the Laval D. That really tells the story of what has transpired here in these first 2 quarters at Stade Pep.
It's unbelievable, right? Number 97, Matthew Baudon-Cloutier comes in. It's unbelievable how great this defense is.
All right, let's send it downstairs where Glenn Sheeler is standing by with Dinos head coach Blake Neal.
Well, Blake, I don't think anyone expected 49-0. Are they playing that well, or is your team playing that bad?
Well, you know, it's just a combination of things. We talked about when we came out about not getting in a hole, like deep in the end zone. We couldn't get field position the whole half. Their experience, our youth, they're just a quality team, and we're just having troubles dealing with it.
How much more of it now is just taking this experience in and learning from it?
Well, that's what it is right now. You know, what can you do? You know, like we thought we'd be in a better position. I can't say I'm not. I'm just, you know, sort of a little dumbfounded by it. I was hoping we'd be a little bit more competitive. We're not. We just got to go regroup and come out second half, because I want to see us recover from something like this.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care. Bye.
Laval gave up just over 8 points a game this season. Somehow Calgary has to find a way to score 50 after the break. We'll set you up for the Mitchell Bowl. I'm hearing there's snow in London. We'll get the full story next.
Comes the versatility, some tools don't cut it. But now there's a tool that cuts almost anything just like that. The Benchmark Anvil Cut. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. The Anvil Cut's industrial steel blades snap through rubber, plastic pipe, vinyl tile, and much more. It's also a great utility knife. The Benchmark Anvil Cut. It's a cut above.
Homeowners, helping homeowners.
Only at Home Hardware.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with unbeatable traction to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth. Mitsubishi Motors.
Follow me, young and free, with a ring-tailed cat and a dog and a flea.
Shaun White Snowboarding. In stores November 16th, rated E10 to T.
This is carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gas that's threatening our planet. And this is the university where Canada comes to learn about it. Our researchers are advising industries and governments about the best ways to capture and store this stuff. And now, we're working on ways to pull it right out of the air. I'm David Keith, and this is the University of Calgary. Come, learn, be inspired.
What's that?
A rocket mobile internet stick from Rogers. Lets you take the internet with you.
Prove it.
See? I can download music here. Bank online here. Check email here. Watch streaming video here. Even here. Nice.
Get the Rocket Mobile Internet Stick on Canada's fastest mobile network. Act now and get the stick for free.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with a rugged suspension to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth. Mitsubishi Motors.
Introducing Braun Series 7. The world's first shaver with pulsonic technology. Its oscillating head with over 10,000 micropulses per minute gives you incredibly smooth skin. The Series 7, one of Braun's perfectly smooth gifts.
Cars today have many safety features. Add another feature that can help prevent you from using them. GE Nighthawk headlamps are 30% brighter than standard GE halogens. Drive with confidence.
A fairly elaborate tailgate going on in Quebec City today. A lot of barbecue, a lot of smoked meat. Laval's currently smoking Calgary at the half. It is 49-0 in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. Sid Zixero, Larry Justanis, Glenn Sheeler trying to stay warm on the field. Quick comment, Larry, on the first half. And for most of it, it's not as if the Dinos turned the ball over. It's not as if they had a lot of penalties. Laval are just absolutely cooking.
Yeah, we talked about that one key of the game, getting off to a fast start for Calgary, and unfortunately they didn't, right? That first play of the game set the tone for Laval. Big plays by Laval's offense, throwing the ball downfield. That's what we need Calgary to do, throw the ball downfield right now. Take it as a learning experience. You saw Blake Mill dumbfounded, right? Didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do. He's going to teach these kids right now, and like I talked about earlier, they need to compete right now. They're down 49. Yeah, you know what? You're probably not going to move on next week to the Vanier Cup, but you got these guys are first or second year kids that can move on next year and take something from this game and move on in the Can West next year.
Laval do have a foot, 2 feet in next week's final, and they will take on the winner of the Mitchell Bowl between St. Mary's and the Western Mustangs. We're going to have that game live on The Score coming up later on this afternoon with more from apparently snowy London. Here are the men who will call the game, Tim McAuliffe and Mike Morreale.
Weather may play a factor here in London, Ontario for the Mitchell Bowl. Blizzard-like conditions last night. The snow continued to fall this morning, but right now we are clear at TD Waterhouse Stadium alongside Mike Morreale, Tim McAuliffe. Now, I'm no meteorologist, but we cannot guarantee that the snow will hold off throughout the day. Two contrasting styles meet here in London in the Mitchell Bowl. Mike, St. Mary's brings their top-rated rushing attack to face a Western squad that boasts the nation's leading passer in Mike Falds.
Yeah, really. Mike Falds played fantastic all year long for the Western Mustangs, brings a 9-1 record into the Mitchell Bowl today, led the nation in passing, and led that offense behind center as a veteran leader, and that was the most important thing to lead at this point.
Falds threw for 2,596 yards, not only has him on top of the nation's passing list, but it is the 7th best single-season total in CIS history. Mustang Senior gives Greg Marshall a gunslinger and veteran leadership. The same can't be said about St. Mary's. The Huskies lost their starting quarterback exactly a year ago. Last year's Heck Crichton Award winner as the nation's top player, Eric Clavage, tore his ACL in last season's national semifinal. His return this year lasted just 7 passes. So after going through no less than 5 quarterbacks this season, the Huskies have settled, Mike, on freshman quarterback Jack Creighton.
Yeah, Jack Creighton really, I mean, if you're comparing quarterbacks, statistically, Faulds hasn't beat outright. But he had a great game last week against St. FX to lead him here as a freshman. He's really finding his feet, getting ready to play here today.
The injury to Glavich, of course, has forced St. Mary's to diversify, and the O-line and running backs have really stepped up for Coach Steve Samara.
Yeah, Samara's blessed to have an O-line that leads the nation in rushing, blocking for those guys with Jones, Blair, Leger, 60 yards better than the next nearest competitor.
The two offenses have got a lot of ink in the media. Not here. We're going to give a little ink to the defenses. They are both top 6 in the nation and boast a pair of guys that can make a real big difference on the D-line. With more on them, here's DJ Bennett. DJ?
Well, Timmy, fast, fearsome, athletic, agile. Both defensive ends in this game were all-stars in their respective conferences, and both can change the game at any time. Let's talk first about Vaughn Martin, who's playing for the home team, the Western Mustangs, a mammoth man. He came on campus 2 years ago, benching 225 12 times. A year in the weight room, guess what? 29 times he put it up. He moves offensive linemen, but he's agile. He can run you down as well. We could see him playing inside today. Let's go to the other side of the ball, Carl McCartney. I spoke to his high school coach, Courtney Shrimpton, who played in the CIS at McGill. He said, listen, this guy ran a 4.3 coming out of high school. He just runs down angles. You cannot block this guy. He doesn't stay blocked. Both of these guys were recruited by Michigan State. How nice is it now that we've got some Canadian weather to see some of Canada's best athletes playing in such a big game?
Yeah, we get the luxury of seeing those two go to work, and those two give the luxury to 2 veteran-laden secondaries to go ball hawking, and that's exactly what they do. St. Mary's placed 3 DBs in the top 5 of their conference in interceptions, including Jeff Zielinski, whose 5 picks were second best in the country. But Mike Western can counter with a ball hawk of their own and Matt Carapella.
Oh, Carapella has done it throughout the year, making interceptions, but in the playoffs alone, career interception number 11 last week. You make those big playoff interceptions, that bodes well for the team going to the game today.
Well, there is one thing that is clear, and that is that Coach Steve Samara will need his freshman quarterback to keep it out of the hands of Matt Carapella if they hope to make their school's 10th appearance in the Vanier Cup and thus win the Mitchell Bowl. That is next on the score, but still 30 minutes to play at Pep, so let's go back to Quebec City.
Should be a lot of fun later this afternoon. Thanks, gentlemen, for that. We're going to take a break. More live from Quebec City coming up after this University Rush, live on the score.
The first half, all Laval, that's an understatement. 49-0. The Rouge have never lost a bowl game at home, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Joined now by the head coach of the Rouge, Glenn Constantine. Let's go back to the first play of the game. Play action, deep down the field, set the tone, get the fans into it. How much was that planned days ago? Were you going to go with that play regardless of where you started?
Actually, yeah, we wanted to test our man coverage right away and see what they had, and obviously it's a tough place to play football, and if you're not focused, you're going to have a surprise, and obviously it's paid off for us.
49-0. Is it time now to think about resting the starters, prevent some maybe possible injuries for the Vanier?
There's no doubt we're going to pull some guys early, and we want to make sure that we have no letdowns in intensity and make sure that everybody has fun.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. And the starters are being pulled as of right now. Benoit Gros out. Backup quarterback Cesar Hernandez Sanchez in. The handoff right up the gut. And that isn't going anywhere. Maxime Ballon, who is seeing a lot more of the carries since late in the first half, gets the carry there. Let us take a look at these impressive first half numbers put up by the Rouge et Or.
Now, we talked about whose big dogs would show up, and look at the rushing yards, 105 to 38. Passing yards, all big plays by Laval and Benoit Gros, 249 to 56. Time possession, the first downs sticks out in my mind too, 20 first downs to 3, and that result is 49-0 right now.
So Benoit Gros smartly is going to watch this one like the rest of us. Handoff up the middle. Maxime Ballon, maximum effort. He's running out of gas. He's angled out deep inside Dino territory. Casey Fraser eventually brought him down, but it's Maxime Ballon. You see the depth of the Laval rushing attack.
Yeah, they're running what we call inside zone play there, beside that, behind that right center. Gagne and Bergeron, the 2 all-conference candidates, and you know what? that's what I mean. They talk about we take one guy in, another guy comes. There's so much talent on this football team. I think Laval is making a statement across the country today that they are the best football team, and they're very annoyed of last year's loss at St. Mary's.
They were on the verge of a Vanier Cup a year ago, but didn't get to the final destination. Handoff up the middle. The fullbacks now in the fray. Samuel Fournier, third-year man out of Laval, Quebec. 2 touchdowns on the season. Fournier and Ballard and others are going to get a lot of touches from here on out. And actually, it's a pretty good stage for these kids as well.
Yeah, definitely young guys. They can show what they can do. I like what Coach Constantine is doing. He's playing it smart, right? Take your starters out. Benoit Rouge got you here. No need to play him anymore. Get Hernandez, Sanchez some time in the game, too, in a playoff atmosphere. He played last year in this Uteck Bowl as well, too. So he has some good experience as well.
That is a man with reason to smile, no question about it. 2nd and 6 for the Rouge. Aor right out the gut after halftime. They continue to assert themselves. Hand off to Maxime Ballard, and he is taken down. Andrea Bonaventura in on the tackle.
Andrea Bonaventura does a nice job of scraping from his middle linebacker spot. Makes a nice tackle on Ballard here. Keeps them, you see, whenever they rally the troops or make the running backs come back inside, good things happen to Calgary. They stop them. When they get that outside zone or outside edge running Laval, as we say, they get big yardage. So that's what they're looking at the beginning of the game. Blake Mill was talking about it. They want to prevent that big play on that outside edge on that zone play.
Bonaventura, team-high 37 tackles this season. It's a field goal try for Christopher Milo, and it is good. So you can tack on 3 more. We have cracked the 50 barrier. Le Rouge Aor continue to put points on the board. More live from Quebec City after this. University Rush on the score.
We call it a crossover. Whatever you call it, you won't call it boring. The new Flex, only from Ford.
A capacity crowd here at Stade Peps in Quebec City are watching history. Here are some of the records that Laval's putting up today.
What's interesting about that first one is that St. Mary's scored. Coach Blake Nill talked to us before the game. Simon Fraser had to play basically at 7 a.m. They didn't stand a chance, just like these poor Calgary kids. The time change made a difference, believe it.
Some of those numbers we really we need some time to take in. We're going to take another look at them. The first number, most points in a bowl game in CIS history, 60 by St. Mary's over SFU. We are at 52 with basically a half of football to go. 52 points scored, 52-point differential by Laval today. This is a historic performance we're watching from the Rouge Aor, and there's a lot of time to build on it with some backups who are also looking to make a point.
That's right, and I think, Coach Constantine talked about it. They want to finish the job. Last year, they didn't finish the job down in Halifax. They want to finish the job right now. See Calgary comes up, try to get a nice run, but Jean-Philippe Guibert that makes another nice tackle. You are a great defense when you can only bring 4 guys. You have a dominant front 4 like these Laval defensive players have.
Jean-Philippe Gilbert, 4th year to St. Victor de Ball. That sets up a 2nd and long. They hand it off, going left. It's Casey Prince. And the little Prince is taken down for a 3-yard gain. That'll set up another 2nd and long, and the punt team will come out for Lake Neal's Dinos one more time.
Initially, when I saw that play, I'm thinking, Casey Prince can have a lot of yards. But once again, Laval, basics. They played football very well. No one cheats. Look at everybody's rallying to the football. There's 5 or 6 guys over there making the tackle. Looked like a long gain. They only gained 3 yards. Not even 3 yards. They gained a yard. Now they have to punt again.
We've seen a lot of Aaron Ifield today, to the chagrin of the Dinos. Back to receive it is Victor Tremblay. He is alone in the receiving position. They ran a fake earlier, a rather successful one to the Dinos. Why not with the scoreline the way it is? We'll play this one a little more safer. Decent kick from Ifield. Tremblay takes it around his own 20. He'll gain 5. And the Laval Rouge will set up shop at their own 26 with a commanding lead in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. More live University Rush on the score in moments.
Wilson, the only football on the field for all universities in Canada. Wilson is proud to support another great season of football leading up to the Vanier Cup. Locally made and locally played, your #1 choice in football. Wilson, the brand of the pros and all university play in Canada. Wilson, the official ball of the OUA.
Welcome back. The Rouge are about to punch their ticket in next week's Vanier Cup. Question is, who will they face? We will answer that beginning at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the score, when St. Mary's take on Western in the Mitchell Bowl. DJ Bennett, Mike Morielli, and lead play-by-play man, the voice of CIS football in this country, Tim McAuliffe, have the call. That is coming up live right here on the Score Television Network. And word is there is snow in London, so the visuals should be very appealing, aside from the game itself, which should be very good. Rouge quick hit out. Cesar Hernandez-Sanchez. In on the tackle is Matt Groen. And he looks a little dinged up after that.
Yeah, fake that zone option pass and then come outside, throw that slip screen to the flanker. That's what they faked in the first half and the first play of the football game and threw it deep, and now they come back and throw it. It's good to get Sanchez throwing in, instead of just letting him run the football through these 2 quarters, because you never know what can happen. You may need this young man next week.
Matthew LeBlanc was the recipient of that quick hit that picked up 4. 2nd and 6 for Hernandez-Sanchez. Back, a lot of time over the middle. He finds his target, but just shy of the first down. Matthew Picard, the slot back. They'll make the reception, but he is met by Chase Moore, linebacker for the Dinos, and that'll bring out the punt team once again. The Laval Rouge as the backups try and make a point here on national television.
Nice play by Calgary, but the one point you said there, a lot of time. They rushed only 4 guys. Sanchez Hernandez had a lot of time there to throw the ball downfield, fix his guy. Nice play by Calgary, 2 and out. I think it's their first 2 and out of the game. There's that positive. We talked about Blake Mill, talking about that coaching points for next year. You got to keep competing right now. You're down. It's a great learning experience for these Dinos.
KC Prince back to return the punt. Christopher Milo at his own 20. Low line drive, got to him quickly. Eludes the first man, gets away from the second. He's up the middle, he's got a hold. He cuts left. He didn't cut left, he cut right. And there was 3 guys waiting for him. So the Dinos will set up shop inside Rouge or territory for one of the few times today.
Yeah, the return's all set up because the punt didn't have any hang time. Milo basically line drive punt into the wind. Nice return by KC Prince right here. Like you said, he went right when he should have gone left. But you know what? Things haven't gone Calgary's way today, but that's a nice positive play on the return there by Calgary.
Easy call to make up here. A lot more difficult on the ground against the #1 team in all of Canada. There's KC Prince in the slot. Deke Jr. rolling right. Hits his man, finds the intended target. It is caught Nathan Colehorn with the reception just shy of the Laval 40 as they pull off a good first down play this afternoon. They'll set up a 2nd and 4.
Yeah, Calgary and Deke Jr. have had success with this. We call it rollout or blue protection. We have slide protection. Makes them really only have to feel easier for them, but they've had success. Deke Jr.'s played a pretty good football game. He has. He hasn't made the mistakes that they're concerned about.
The Rouge on D, discussing on offense, discussing things that are D or discussing things on the field. 2nd down and 3. They give it to Matt Walter, and in what is really a microcosm of his day, he doesn't get much.
Your boy, the Etienne Laguerre, makes a nice tackle. We talked about his pass rushing skills. I told you he can play the point of attack. You can't run the ball against this young man. Going back to that huddle on the offense, you saw that coach. He was actually in the Laval's offensive space. I think he's concerned that they went 2 and out there. He wants to keep the level of competition high because they know they got to play next week in a big football game.
Very high standards this afternoon being shown by the Laval Rouge. It's 3rd down. Calgary says the heck with it. We are going for it. 3rd and short. Junior under center. The pitch to Walter, right side. He falls over the line, doing a great job against the tough defensive front. He'll make it by a yard. First down, Calgary Dinos.
Yeah, they tried this kind of play, similar package in the first half, and they didn't get it. They lined 3 other guys in the backfield. This time they go toss sweep, get Matt Walter to the outside to get that first down. Another positive for Calgary. You're seeing it. They're coming out, they're competing right now in this second half. This is what they needed to do in the first half.
Matt Walter rushed for over 900 yards this season, but not much today. Etienne Leganet and that front for the Laval Rouge are doing a fantastic job. They head off again. Big stick. But Walter keeps going and picks up a nice little gain. That's 5. That'll set up another manageable second down, especially the way that Deke Jr. has been asked to throw the ball today and has executed throwing the ball today. The dinks and dunks he's been really good at.
Yeah, we talk about, Laval's second unit, and this isn't Laval's second unit, it's Laval's first unit defense still in the ballgame. Calgary's offense is now moving the football, which is good to see.
They marked it at a 2nd and 6 to shy the Laval 30. Looking right, it's Deke Jr. finds the open Anthony Woodson, who really is a running back, but they do enjoy splitting him out in the slot occasionally. That's what they did there. And at the naked eye, it looks like they have gotten the first down.
And we talk about Woodson getting the ball in space. What happens here is they have cut coverage, that corner comes up. Next time Deke sees that, he's got to throw that ball over top that flyer at the number 25, set that corner up. But we talked about getting Woodson parked with the football. That's what they need to do, and get him in space. Good things happen when these guys get the football.
Anthony Woodson, in terms of pass catching, not much this season, rushing a little less as well, with Walter stealing the show. But they really like this young man, and he's out there a lot on offense. Very important piece of what they do. This drive, the best so far of the day for Calgary. A first down inside the Laval 30. They're going for it deep. Man open. He stretches out, but comes up just a little shy. Number 82, Nathan Cohorn, doing everything he could to pull it in, but the pass a little too strong from Deke Jr.
They come out with that short yardage package again with those 3 guys in the backfield. They got Cohorn going down the middle of the field, Parker down the sideline, just out of his reach. But I like the play call, going downfield on first down. You got nothing to lose right now. You're down by 52 points. Let Deke learn from this football game. Let him learn how to throw the football downfield against a great Laval defense.
Cohorn from Red Cliff, Alberta, 2 touchdowns a season, 365. Junior back, the line doing a much better job right now. Casey Prince over the middle. It's a first down. Big stick by Jonathan Laliberté, but not before they pick up enough to move the sticks once more, and the Dinos are inside the 10 of Laval.
Yeah, Deke Jr. Look at he sets his feet, drills that ball in the hole there. Great play call. That 4-1 set where they have 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, 1 to the boundary, had to clear out with the post, but Deke does a nice job as a mechanic, steps in that throw, probably his best football throw of the game.
From a morale perspective, if they would score a touchdown here internally, it would be worth 21 points. That's how bad the day has gone for Calgary. But they can get a reason to smile if they can punch this in against one of the best defenses in the country. In fact, the best defense. Man open, touchdown Calgary Dinos. Anthony Woodson cut out to the left, and no one stuck with him.
Yeah, well, they come with that short yardage package again. We talk about Woodson. He was a second-team All-Canadian. Here he is lined up in the backfield. They go play action off the counter. Woodson comes outside wide open. This young man was a second-team All-Canadian last year. Got hurt, gave Walter the chance to play this year. So they have some talent on this football team. A great throw, a great drive by Deke Jr. You have nothing to lose right now. Let this young man learn how to play the quarterback position.
Woodson found the end zone just once as a runner during the season, but since using him out wide, he's been much more productive. Aaron Ifield comes out to put it through for the first time today. The Calgary Dinos are on the board. After an impressive drive, they've cut it to 52-7. More live from Quebec after this.
Need multiple shipping companies to do one job. As VP Operations, I say we make things easier and use FedEx for everything.
As Senior VP Operations, I agree.
As Executive Senior VP Operations, I concur. Wilfred?
You gotta stay lean and mean. FedEx it is.
Here, here. Bravo, sir.
That's why he's the Chief Deputy Executive Senior VP Operations, Northern Hemisphere.
Focus on functionality.
Taco Bell's Fiesta Platter is a whole lot of food. A big meal with 2 chicken or steak tacos, a mound of nachos with salsa, zesty red rice and hearty beans, all on one big platter. For a whole lot of food, think outside the bun.
Want a deal every day of the year? Try the Pizza Mia pizzas from Pizza Hut. Just $6 each every day when you order 3 or more one-topping pizzas. $6 never tasted so good. Order today. Prices may vary.
Giants doing battle with the Ravens this afternoon from New York, and this one has been all Brandon Jacobs. He's got a pair of rushing touchdowns. It's 20-0 New York in the second.
Welcome back to the Uteck Bowl, live on The Score. Well, after a rough first half, Deke Jr., you guys get on the board now. What does that do for morale?
Just playing for pride now, so basically we're not going out without a fight, that's for sure. And yeah, basically that's it.
What did you guys learn in the first half, and what do you take into maybe next season?
It's not next season yet. We're going to play the end of this game here and hit them in the mouth as many times as possible. I'd like to say I love all my family back home. I'll try my heart out there. Let's go.
Thanks, Deke.
Thank you very much, Glenn. A lot of people in Regina and Calgary looking on as Deke Jr., who has really held his own today. He's played pretty well under difficult circumstances, saying hello to people back home. And the positives continue for Calgary. They scored another point.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to Deke, though, Laval wanted to stop the run and make Deke beat them, but what happened was Laval just got out so far in front that Deke's actually played a pretty good football game for his first, basically, semifinal.
History may not look kindly at the final score, but Deke Jr. has held his own today without question. Hernandez Sanchez using his legs. That's a 9-yard gain. And the backup QB, fourth-year man, originally from Mexico, close to a first down.
Deji Adewale, he's kicking himself for that one. He comes down number 3 right here on the zone option play, but still has enough athletic ability to come outside to Sanchez Hernandez, but then misses him, but still tries to chase him down. That's why he'll be a top 10 prospect in the CFL next year as well, too.
And it does say something to the depth that we've been talking about a bit. When a backup QB for this team, as Sanchez is, can do that to a kid who's going to go in the top 10 likely this year, that does say something about depth.
Yeah, it definitely does. Sanchez got some good playing time last year with Ben Drew getting hurt. And that made this Laval team even better, believe it or not, having a great capable backup just in case things happen to Ben Drew. Scary thing is Ben Drew has another year left.
It is scary. Very scary. Sanchez 6'1", 210, fourth year. Through for 2 touchdown passes this season. They are digging in their heels on that front for Calgary. It's a second and short. Direct handoff by Sanchez. He didn't waste any time. Went left. He's had some success doing that today and picks himself up a first down.
Yeah, nice job. Usually people just gonna jump over the top, but he keeps it, scrapes across outside, and gains a good 5 or 6 yards. Another face mask penalty there. Another 15 yards on top of that for Laval's offense.
Calgary, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Now maybe some fatigue setting in for a Calgary Dino defense that has been out there an awful lot today under stressful circumstances. Laval's been asking a lot of questions of that defense, and they continue to. Now the penalties are starting to add up a bit. It's 1st and 10 at the 45 of Calgary. The handoff to Maxime Bellon. Bellon is cracked at the 35, but not before he picks up a first down. James Green coming up and laying some wood.
Yeah, we talk about the big dogs. We see Bayargien come out and pull in front here for Maxime Bellon. A great block by 605, 335-pound offensive tackle. The right tackle pulling there.
My mistake. That was Sebastian Levesque back into the game with the handoff. My apologies for that. Levesque. Be interesting to see how many carries he gets, because he's one of those guys who has instilled himself as a regular. But at this point of the game, should Levesque be out there a whole lot? That's a debate you can have. He was out there on the last carry. He's not out there now. It's back to Maxime Ballon. Was off tackle right side. Andrea Bonaventura is one of the first guys to get to him. That'll be about a 7-yard gain. That'll set up a 2nd and 3.
Seems like Laval wants to run the football. Look at that. You get that right tackle sealing it again by Arjan. Whenever they want to run to that right side of the football, by Jourdain and by Arjan, they can do whatever they want. There's another 7-yard gain. Whoever wins that next game at 3:30 will have their hands full with this offensive line, guaranteed.
Definitely. This is one of the most impressive groups. And head coach Glenn Constantine said these guys may be one of the best fronts he's ever had offensively, and that is saying something. They had a few in Laval. Sanchez back, finds the intended target. It's Fioli Godino. I haven't seen him in a while. He's been fairly busy early. Back in the fray right there, Matt Crone, the left half, getting him out of bounds.
Let's talk about great mechanics. Sanchez gets the ball, throws it outside shoulder. Godino comes back to the football. That's just good coaching again, right? Throws the ball on the outside of the defender who actually just slipped. But even if he's tight coverage, that's a great quarterback play by Sanchez, the backup.
7 catches, 111 yards. Most of that, like many of the numbers put up by Laval today, did take place in half number 1. A timeout's been called by Sanchez. He wanted to talk over something with head coach Glenn Constantine. So he's going to head over for a discussion. We're going to head out for a quick break. Stick around. Much more live from Quebec City. After this, you're watching University Rush live on The Score. Welcome back. This is the story of Laval's season. 10 wins over 10 games, and there's some rather lopsided scores on there, including week 2, which I know cuts right to the core of everything, Larry Justanis.
Yeah, definitely. But you look at Laval, they average 42 points a game, only give 7.5 up. 42 points a football game they have.
On defense, they've only allowed 67 yards rushing per game, and that number's gone way down today. A quick hit outside, completion by Sanchez. And that might be good enough for first down. Matthew LeBlanc, a 5th-year man out of St. Bruno, Quebec, makes the reception.
We talk about that depth, right? They just roll the guys in. Sanchez pitch and catch again, 3-step drop, throws a nice comeback route, comes back to the football, makes a nice gain there for a first down. Going back to that defense of Laval, though, regular season, only 5 touchdowns scored all year against that defense. 5 all year.
Which is why you know that last major by the Calgary Dinos stung on that sideline, regardless of what the score
definitely did. Looking at defensive coaches after, they're annoyed by that. They wanted that shutout, you know. They didn't want to give up that touchdown. That's why that number 1 unit's still out there.
Excellent point, Larry. They're going to have another conversation here as Sanchez comes to the sideline. Glenn Constantine watching on. You know, last year his team went to St. Mary's. A lot of people thought they were good enough to win the Vanier Cup, and they got beat 24-2 at St. Mary's. And Constantine said he didn't recognize the team that went out there that day. Until this day, he has no explanation as to why they performed so poorly in that national semi, that bowl last season. Well, this year, it's safe to say that Constantine and company have atoned for that loss.
Yeah, I think they expect, this program expects to be in the Vanier Cup every year. And last year was a disappointing season, you know, losing that game out in Halifax 24-2, and they created a motto after that game, finish the job, and they've carried that over in their strength conditioning program in the offseason. You know, they traveled down to Florida for training camp as well, too, and they've kept that going. You know, you plug in guys, you got Sanchez in right now, it's the same thing, they're just moving the football.
First down, Sanchez over the middle, single coverage, there's been a collision. They say it's incidental contact, incomplete pass. And Matthew Picard thought that Casey Fraser, one of the dime in the secondary got to him intentionally. It did look unintentional to me, Larry.
Unintentional, but what makes me laugh about this is, one, the fans haven't left the stadium yet. Yeah, it could be a little bit of interference. Fans haven't left. They're booing. Laval players are all over the field thinking it's interference. They want more. That's what amazes me about these guys. They really, I think they want to set the record today of the most points scored. You can feel it in the stadium.
Yeah, you do feel that the number has circulated. Somebody started talking. The handoff to Maxime Ballon. End zone, another major by the Laval Rouge. What a performance by the nation's top team. This is something special today.
Sid, we talked about it. They want to run the football going to the right side of that offensive line. Luc Boudreau-Jardin and Pascal Bayer-Arjan, you know, they average about 320 pounds inside zone. Look at that hole they create. He walks into the end zone. He doesn't get touched until he gets into the end zone.
Mike Boudreau, Bayer-Arjan, the right side of that offensive line, doing what they're expected to do here in Laval. Christopher Milo, low line drive. Milo's been pretty busy today too. That right leg is warm. It is 59-8. Seriously, it's 59-8. Laval are rolling. More live from Quebec after this.
What you're about to see will change the way you look at weather. Presenting the revolutionary Rain-X Latitude wiper blades. Many traditional wipers have 6 pressure points that can create uneven pressure and cause streaking. Rain-X Latitude blades contour to hug the windshield for greater visibility and virtually no streaking. So it's like weather never happened. Get ultimate visibility with Rain-X Latitude wiper blades. Rain-X, available at Walmart.
The home of university sport in Canada is the CIS. From Victoria to St. John's, Canadian inter-university sport is the place to compete in some of the biggest and most televised tournaments in the country. Earn a degree while training in the finest facilities across Canada. Compete in national championships for men and women's basketball, volleyball, hockey, football, and more. The CIS, the experience of a lifetime.
Welcome back to the Uteck Bowl, joined now by Maxime Ballon, who just scored another touchdown, 59-8. Now, what is it about the Rouge that just keeps their foot on the gas pedal all times?
Yeah, it's important for us to... we are a very good team, and we do what we can do. We are a good team. We run that shit. We pass the ball, we run the ball, and we do that all the time.
You guys are 1 point away from tying the all-time record for most points scored in the Uteck Bowl. Is that something you guys care about and want to break?
Personally, no. I won this game, and that's it.
Thanks, Maxime.
Thanks.
Sid?
Glenn, thank you very much. And as that interview was being conducted, they were playing Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline here at Stade Peps. And indeed, good times never felt so good for the Laval Rouge.
Definitely, you know, they want to get out of this game. We talked about injury-free. The depth on this football team is Maxime Ballon. You know, the guy just scored the last touchdown. Does a great job finding the hole. It's just one player after another. Coach Constantine does a great job in the offseason coaching these young men up. And that's where they're probably one of the top teams, if not in the nation.
They were #1 in the polls. Laval were front to back this season. 3rd time in 4 years that's happened. Over the middle. Deke Jr. had the open receiver. Casey Prince made a great effort, but just couldn't commit finally to the grab, but it was a nice toss by Junior.
Yeah, Deke's throwing the ball with some good authority and some good zipper. Nice play action here. What we call cross buckle, slot fake reverse. Throws the ball in that dig route for a nice zip. Good effort there by Casey Prince. Hell of a throw in between two men, you know, but the difference is Laval receivers are making the catches like that. The Calgary guys are coming up with those big plays.
A 2nd and 10 for Junior. Oh, this is trouble. That was never going to end well. Never going to end well. Samuel Laval, one of the backups for the Laval D. You're starting to see a few of those come in, and he was just swarmed on this, Larry.
Yeah, he was, and you know what? We go back to that 4-man rush, but number 20 does a nice job of coming in on the safety blitz. St. Omar does a nice job of bringing Deke Jr. up into the, make him step up into the rush, and another sack against Deke Jr. You know, it's
a quick reminder before we continue. Vanier Cup next Saturday, live on the Score from Hamilton. The Rouge will be there. Either St. Mary's or Western will join them. The Mitchell Bowl is coming up next, live on the Score from London, Ontario. We continue here. Fioli Godino, one hops it, and he is tripped up at the Laval 45-yard line, and out comes the offense, looking for more points on what is turning out to be a historic day in bowl history here in CIS football.
I'm surprised right now on this punt return that Fioli Godino's still out there. You know, Calgary does a nice job. Fortunately, they kick it to him again, like we were saying, don't kick this young man, but they make a nice tackle. But what's more amazing is Laval, they're up, 59-8 right now, 56 seconds left, and they're bringing the free safety, the free safety blitz on 2nd down on Calgary. Do you still think they want to play defense or what?
They are committed. We'll give them that. Cesar Hernandez-Sanchez, backup quarterback. Benoit Gru did not play in this game past halftime after a fantastic first half. Maxime Ballon, he's playing well.
Once again, they get out to the outside zone reach play again, right on that right side of that line, but side on those big hogs, basically the big dogs we call them. But you see the speed of Maxime Ballon right now. He does a nice job, almost has him there, but look at that speed, gets around that corner on number 42 and gains another 8 yards. They have that right side of the offensive line. When they need something, they can go to it any time.
After Ballon found the end zone on that last series, that made it 6 different Rouge-Or who have found the end zone today. It is about depth. It is about being relentless. That is what this program is all about, and they are showing it on a national stage today. The handoff, Samuel Fournier up the gut on 2nd down. Looks like it'll be a little bit short. Brings up 3rd down for the Rouge-Or late in the 3rd.
It's a great point, Sid, because you know you're going to see St. Mary's or Western, whoever comes out of that game. Here's here Fournier comes down the right side again. You see the tendencies to run the right side of the game, the offensive line, but we talk about St. Mary's or Western. They're going to look at the film. They're going to be awestruck, obviously, by that offense. But who do you stop? 6 guys touch the football and score touchdowns today, and that's tough to do on defense. When you got, you can take 1 or 2 guys away in a game, but when you have 6 different guys that can carry the rock and score touchdowns, and we don't even know, they might throw another guy in soon too, a 3rd string guy.
3rd string might be just as good for all we know. Looks like we're about to find out. Clock is at 0 here in quarter 3. This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. It'll be a punt. Christopher Milo, one of the few times today he has, standing at his own 40.
Don't hold him, White. Let go.
Kick is up into a very tricky win. Casey Prince back. It was clean, no flag on the play for no yards, and he's taken down shy of his own 20-yard line. 3 quarters is in the books, and the Rouge-Or are on their way to next week's Vanier Cup. We'll wrap it all up next, live on the Score.
I call him Blackberry.
Bizarre name.
Well, I asked for a Blackberry Bold. You know, 3G, super fast downloading, browsing.
Oh, so your parents got you a dog?
Yeah, he doesn't browse or stream, but who doesn't browse or stream?
Oh, he's so cute.
He'd be cuter in 3G, but
I think he just 3G'd on the rug.
This season, go bold. The world's fastest BlackBerry. Just one of the hottest new BlackBerry smartphones, only at Rogers.
Trees swaying in the sun.
the silver leaves as we walked by.
See the difference our range of top-performing wiper blades can make.
Are you tired of fumbling to adjust locking pliers? Get new Benchmark Auto-Lock self-adjusting pliers, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Auto-Lock pliers adjust automatically to any size and lock on. And now there are Benchmark Auto-Lock grooved pliers, designed for one-handed use and made for professionals. Pick up your self-adjusting Benchmark Auto-Lock pliers today from just $14.97.
Homeowners, helping homeowners.
Only at Home Hardware.
The athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with unbeatable traction to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
Everton taking on Middlesbrough. This game seen live on the Score. 65th minute, Yakubu evens the game up with a goal against his former team. Off his back, 1-1 is the final.
Welcome back to Quebec City. The road to the Vanier Cup is getting shorter. It happens next Saturday. If you're in the Hamilton area, you want tickets, 905-547-2418, or visit the website, Vanier Cup. Next Saturday, you can see it also live on the Score. There is Matt Walter showing some of that style that made him the Canada West nominee for the Heck Crichton. Without question, the best spurt of his afternoon.
Yeah, what a terrific run. You know, toss sweep to the right. Ripped shirt there a little bit, but he must have broken about 6 or 7 tackles there, rumbling and stumbling through that O-line right there. 1, 2, whoop, 3 nice little feet. You know, this guy got the chance to start because Woodson was hurt, and you know, they have 2 great running backs here, Calgary, they can build on for the next few years, basically.
First down and 10. Deke Jr. looking for the home run. Deep left, looking for Cohorn, and he did not corral it. However, there is a flag on the play. And the Calgary Dinos are going to move the sticks based on what appears to be pass interference. Glenn Constantine can't believe it.
Yeah, but we talked about this all first half. Get the ball downfield. Good things happen, right? There's an example, you know, play action pass again. Cohorn always makes a great catch.
Pass
but he doesn't locate the football.
15-yard penalty. First down.
Olivier Turcotte-Letourneau, the right corner.
Yeah, he just doesn't locate the football, doesn't turn back, and you're immediately going to get called pass interference.
Yeah, Jonathan Laliberté wasn't impressed at all with that. Like we alluded to earlier, a lot of pride on this Laval defensive side of the ball. Quick hit out, Casey Prince. Excuse me, that was Cohorn again, who was in on the previous pass interference. That looks to be a pickup of about 8. They'll set up a 2nd and 2.
Yeah, Coach Neal talked about it. His best players are his receivers and running backs. Got to get them the football. Good things are happening when you get these guys the football. What's happened though is they stretch that defense, throwing a few balls deep. So now they can hit these quick hitters and get positive yards because Laval is just sitting on things we call squatting on all the patterns in the first half.
No defense was stingier in terms of giving up touchdowns than this Laval D. And they want to keep that going today. Walter with the carry that didn't do much. He went to the left side. Vincent Lehoux, 4th-year gentleman out of Sainte Marie, Quebec, makes the tackle.
Yeah, does a nice job. You know what? We talk about Laval's defense. We talk about the pride they have. They don't want any more yardage or points scored against these guys. They want to probably try to get that record and keep the score basically to Calgary to 8 points for this game.
You do have some drama on both sides. Sorry, Larry. You do have some drama both sides of the ball. The D do not want to give up any more touchdowns. They have a reputation to keep up. And we're a point away from tying the bowl record for points on offense for Laval. So as far as those 2 units are concerned, the scoreline may be out of touch, but they're playing for a lot.
Oh, they definitely are. Another nice play by Deke Jr. there. He sat in the pocket, threw a nice strike to Cohorn there for another first down. You know, comes out on that play action pass. You see, they've run the ball, and now the play action pass is getting set up. Does a nice job towards that strike corner, because a nice job coming back to the football. Another first down for Calgary. There is that pride. You know, there's 7.5 points given by Laval per game all year.
Pitch left side. It's Walter. He tried to hit the corner, but Jonathan Laliberté got there first. And they'll set up a 2nd down as the Dinos It's probably too little too late. Actually, it is too little too late, but a good rhythm to end this game.
Yeah, they look like a totally different football team in the first half, don't they? It seems like, you know, Coach Constantine talked about Laval going to St. Mary's last year, didn't know what football team went out there. I think that's what Blake Mill probably thought in the first half is, this isn't my Calgary Dino football team. This is more what they look like in the second half. Play action pass, get Walter going, Deke Jr. having a good football game.
Matt Walter with the carry, Walter up the middle. Matthew Parent brings him down from behind, and that will set up another third down for the Calgary Dinos. Let's take a look at the third quarter numbers brought to you by Mitsubishi.
Yeah, we talked about, you know, the first half, but you see there's some positives to what Calgary's done, but you see that balanced attack by Laval, right? 205 yards rushing, 272 yards passing. The big dogs that through the game, they've dominated the football game, especially that right side of the offensive line for Laval.
Plenty to cheer about today for the Rouge. They're doing a lot of cheering. Still a huge crowd taking this one in, giving their Rouge a nice send-off as they head to Hamilton for next Saturday's Vanier Cup. Up steps Matthew Parent on third down. They gave it to Walters, no dice. And the D's step up, preventing another touchdown.
We talk about that pride factor again. There is 3rd and 1, basically come with that short yardage package. They have 4 men in the backfield, but Matthew Parent does a nice job of getting to the outside and making a tackle right here, sticking his nose in there, but 49 creates some pressure up there to create Walter. You know, another great drive by Calgary there. Unfortunately, they just couldn't finish it.
Parent as jacked as you can be, this defensive unit. They have a lot of pride in what they do. They're going to come out and measure this one, and they did not get it. So possession will change. We're going to take a break and come back. More Uteck ball after this. Live on the Score Television Network. The Laval D in the middle of a huddle talking about the stop on third down they just had and accomplished on the Calgary Dinos. That changes up the possession with 11:36 and counting in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. The Rouge have been near perfect, and they take the ball here early in quarter number 4. It's Sanchez back, quick kick to the right, finds Marc Remillard. And Remillard with the reception, out of bounds. That'll give him a first down. They move the sticks again to Laval.
Yeah, Calgary's basically what we call cover 3 hold with halfbacks jamming the seam, the corner bails. Easy pitch and catch out there for the receiver. But going back to that break there, Sid, Coach Constantine, you know, scores 59-8, pulls off Leho off the field, gets in his face about stopping the run. Here it is, 59-8, but he's trying to teach these guys not to let up because he knows they have one more football game to play next week.
Because their motto this year was
finish the job.
And that's what they're doing today. The handoff. Maxime Bellon with the carry. And he picks up a short gain as the Laval Rouge right now. Goal is work the clock, work it down as they look forward to next week's Vanier Cup in Hamilton. And Larry, I think we're now at the point of the day where we start looking ahead to that a lot more than we were. And I pose to you this question. What do St. Mary's or Western have to do? What's the first thing they must accomplish to be in a game with the squad?
Well, you know what? I don't know if they can do anything. The thing is, we're talking to Coach Constantine before this game, and during the week, he talked about his own line of practice. They dictate how well they'll play in practice because they know sometimes they're playing against the best guys in the country in practice. So if they have a good week of practice, which they did this week, here's a great stick on a side note, though.
Yeah, credit to Brett Ferguson, as we were just talking about next week. One of the best hits of the day by the second-year kid out of Lethbridge. He had 4 picks during the season, big part of what they do. And he, like many in that secondary, have at times had a hard time today catching up with the wideouts and the passing attack of Laval. But credit to him there with a big stick.
Yeah, and that's what Blake Mill wanted to see, some competitiveness in his DBs in the second half, and they've come out and done that. But going back to what we talked about, that O-line is so dominant. You know, it's either do you take away the run or do you take away groove. And they're so balanced. You talk about, you know, who do you take away? Do you take away Uteck? Do you take away groove? Do you take away some of the receivers? It's going to be tough either for Western or St. Mary's.
All right, we're going to step aside, but stick with us much more. From Quebec City, straight ahead, it's University Rush, live on The Score.
Pigskin Picks is back with more prizing than ever. Log on to thescore.com/fantasy to play serious pigskin picks for your chance to win. All you got to do is pick the teams every week for your chance to win the weekly prize, a Sirius satellite radio with 6-month subscription. Win the overall pool, and you and a guest will be flying to Hawaii and saying aloha to 2 tickets to the Pro Bowl, complete with accommodations. Log on to thescore.com now to win.
Welcome back. The CIS Postseason Awards will be given out next week in Hamilton as part of Vanier Cup Week. Here's who's representing the Quebec Conference. 3 gentlemen part of this game today, all from Laval. Benoit Grou, he's a favorite to win the Heck Crichton as best player, most outstanding. Etienne Legare, most outstanding lineman. And Glenn Constantine, he has quite the resume for Coach of the Year. 1st and 10 Dinos. Deke Jr. got a man open. Cohorn had it in his grasp, lost his balance, and dropped it.
Another great play call. That short yardage offense worked very effective for them. They figured out something here. Play action pass by Deke Jr. Cohorn's actually lined up as a tight end, comes on our corner route. Great football. He's got to catch that football, you know. Another good throw by Deke Jr. I was impressed with this young man. He's played a good football game.
Jonathan LaLiberté in on the coverage. They have picked on him a little bit in this second half, late part of the first half. At times it's worked. Here comes some heavy heat. Deke Jr. is decked. Marc-Antoine Fortin, 2nd-year kid out of Quebec City, came in clean and took care of business.
Yeah, they tried getting Deke Jr., we call that red protection, slide protection, get him outside the pocket. But look at the athleticism of number 93 there, 410. That's what I mean. They just roll these D linemen 6 or 7 deep, and they just keep coming at you. Relentless defense right now. The amazing thing is this crowd is still into it. They're still here. People are standing outside. They're enjoying every minute of this. It'll be a good time for them in Hamilton next week.
You hear a lot of the atmosphere here at Stade Peps, and on a day like today, which is quite frankly miserable here in Quebec City, you really appreciate the crowd. Basically, they're all still here giving their team a standing O. It's easy to do on a day like this, I understand that, but still, this is a tremendous atmosphere, one of the best in CIS football, and they are getting quite the performance from their home side. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. 8:38 left in the Uteck Bowl. Laval cruising.
Ryan Peer, Bachelor of Arts Kinesiology, Wolf Laura University, Golden Hawk Football Offensive Coordinator.
Andrea Rusty, Finance Major, University of Western Ontario, Libero, Mustangs Volleyball.
Ontario University Athletics, champions of academics and athletics, champions for life.
Crown Royal. Long live the noble spirit. You realize your view of the world is enhanced when you share perspectives with others. Over a Guinness. Guinness, it's ready for you.
The Athletic athletic 09 Mitsubishi Outlander with a rugged suspension to handle the toughest challenges on Earth. Drive at Earth. Mitsubishi Motors.
We'll get right back to the game in just a second, but first an update. Packers taking on the Bears, and if you got Ryan Grant in the pool, he's having a good day. 105 yards rushing already, plus a score. 17-3, Packers on top.
Welcome back. Just a reminder, you can catch Score tonight with Tim McAuliffe and some other guy. Weeknights on the Score Television Network. We do highlights and stuff. Speaking of Tim McAuliffe, you can catch him coming up real soon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going live to London, Ontario for the Mitchell Bowl. Back end of our CIS semifinal Sunday double dip. St. Mary's Western. Tim McAuliffe, Mike Morielli, DJ Bennett, and a cast of thousands have that one for you. Who will play Laval in next Saturday's Vanier Cup? That question we will answer this afternoon live on the Score. We are 8:24 and counting to the end of the 2008 Uteck Bowl, and it's Sanchez on 1st and 10 looking deep down the left side, looking for Patrick Lavoie, who couldn't bring it in. It sets up a second down.
Yeah, they go 3-2 into the boundary and nice corner up, but the key to this whole play is the protection he gets. He has two men wide open down the field, slips through his hands. Another good throw by Sanchez there on first down, but the protection, you talked about who will be able to beat them, you know. The only advantage I think St. Mary's would have is they actually played them last year, so they kind of know what they are and what they're about. But, you know, talking to Coach Constantine before this, he didn't feel this was his best Laval team ever, you know, that 03 team. But this team he's got to be pretty close to it.
Could have fooled me if it's not his best ever, I'll tell you that. Completion out near the 20-yard line. Matt Groen in on the tackle there. That'll set up the third down, and we change possession one more time as Patrick Lavoie got some opportunities there to make some plays.
I think the wild card last year in that Uteck Bowl for St. Mary's was Eric Glavic. You know, that's the wild card that they don't have right now at St. Mary's because of his injury still from that game, where he can run around and make plays, because that's what Laval might have problems with, is a scrambling quarterback like that.
Certainly a different year. This is a different Laval team. It'll be interesting should St. Mary's get through that later today. It'll be a tight one between Western and St. Mary's. Interesting matchup. And the weather may play a part in that game as well. Let's kick it away. Is one of by far the busier Rouge today, Christopher Milo. He's had a lot to do. Extra points, field goals, the occasional punt.
He's been a fantasy football dream.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. They're going to concede the field position. I know the favorite play of Larry DeSantis.
Oh, man.
He groans every time it happens. So that's two on the board for Calgary. 59-10 is where we sit right now. And when you look at this from Calgary's perspective, Larry, this is a bad loss, obviously. But there are a lot of young players on Blake Neal's team. I mean, Walter's only a second-year guy. Deke Jr.'s got another year left. They're going to be back. And in Canada West, they will have been better off, I think, for coming here, seeing what this is about, and going through this experience.
Oh, definitely. You know, they have Parker, Woods, and Walter back. They have Deke Jr. Plus, they have Tallstrap, who's Rookie of the Year, who's a quarterback who's been on mission for the last 2 years, who will come back and compete next year. Plus, talking to Blake Neal before, he may even have another quarterback transfer in for Central Michigan. So he's creating a great program out there at University of Calgary. You're right, there's a learning experience for these guys. You're going to have a long flight back. They'll learn from it, build on their off-season conditioning and things like that for next year. In Canada West, we'll see a better team next year, an older team, a more experienced team.
Again, a reminder, St. Mary's Western, 3:30 p.m. Eastern today. We're about 40 minutes away from kickoff at TD Waterhouse Stadium in London. Tim McAuliffe, Mike Morielli, DJ Bennett will have the call. And next Saturday, our national championship, the Desjardins Vanier Cup, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a pregame show at 1. We got all your angles covered. Your CIS football home is the Score, in case you didn't already know. Now you know. 7:14 left, 59-10 off the concession of field position.
Let's go Green!
Christopher Milo, the kick, deep, waiting for it are the Dinos. They take it at their own 20 up to the 30, 35, and drop there is Andrea Bonaventura, of all people, the top defensive player in Canada West, trying to show off some special team skills as the season winds down. And Deke Jr. coming out, fourth-year kid out of Regina. It has been a tough day for Calgary. But Deke Jr. is not responsible, in my opinion, and I think you agree with me on that.
No, that's what I think their concern was coming in. You know, Coach Nell, the offense coordinator at Calgary, they didn't know how well he'd respond to the game. He's done a nice job. He's managed the football game on offense, hasn't turned the ball over or anything like that. That's what they expected of him. They just got off that slow start, which really hindered their performance today.
Handoff taken by Walter. He is met at the line. Justin Morrow of Shedden, Ontario, flips him.
Yeah, there's Deke right there. You know, talking to Glenn there. He wasn't even talking about next year. He was talking about competing this half, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. You know, that's a leader right there. Even though he's a first-year guy, he's led them this year. The 5-3 record, a couple upsets there in the playoffs, and he's gotten to where they be today.
Deke Jr., the main reason they're in this game a week ago, throwing 4 touchdowns in a Hardy Cup win over Simon Fraser. Jr. over the middle. He is picked off at the 45-yard line. And that D coming up big. It's Justin Morrow. The biggest sequence of Justin Morrow's career at Laval. And it happens in the waning moments of the Uteck Bowl. A tackle and a pick.
Yeah, nice play by him. You know, Deke was a little late on this throw, and the hook's up on the hook to his receiver. We just talked about him not turning the ball over. Unfortunately, I guess we jinxed him there. But Laval's happy right now. They're dancing around right here, having a lot of fun. A lot of fans still in the crowd, and nice play by that young man as well.
Big moment. He, one of the subs, getting some time with the scoreline being what it is. And that is a sequence he'll remember for the rest of his life, without question. Back up Hernandez Sanchez, handoff Maxime Ballon, and he is met for a gain of only about 3 yards, 5:45 and counting here in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. Again, Laval sitting at 59 points. The record for points in a CIS bowl game is 60. And some would say you go for that record. Others would say, you know, let sleeping dogs lie. It's done. And it appears, at least with the amount of running we've seen, Laval's focus right now, just work that clock.
You know what? They got to play the football game, too. I'm a firm believer. You got to let these young guys play and learn from, like, Sanchez needs to throw the football and things like that. But the difference, you know, I'm looking at both sidelines right now, and obviously one sideline's happening the other, but Laval, every time they come off the field, their defense right there gets huddled up by the defense coordinator, and they're being pep talked or discussed. They're talking schemes still for like a few minutes. Calgary, on the other hand, there is no discussion.
There's the Uteck Bowl, and this is a trophy Laval know a thing or two about. They have won 2, about to win their 3rd. And the one last year is the one, obviously, that still stings and proved to be the real motivator coming into 2008, the loss of St. Mary's.
Yeah, and they didn't have Benoit Groot. You know, not that they're using it as an excuse, but they didn't have him last year. And that, you know, as you can see, 75%, that's a big difference.
The punt from Milo, it's angled out of bounds. Let's head down to the sideline where Glenn Sheeler standing by. Glenn?
Yeah, with 5th-year Dino Pat Callan, never a way you want to end your CIS career. What did you learn today?
This is probably the best atmosphere I've ever played football in my life. It's an experience of a lifetime. I'm never going to forget this. Score, it's out of my head now. We're just playing for each other. But there's nothing better than playing in a crowd like this. They're a good football team, and we're a better football team than we showed today.
It's been 13 years since Calgary got this far. How proud are you of the fact that you made it to this and got to be a part of this experience?
I'm very proud. I mean, there's a handful of guys that I'm playing with right now from my first couple years. And we're the best friends in the world. And the new guys on the team, they're my new best friends too. And this team's going to do great things in the future. I'm just proud of them. I'm proud for getting here, but I'm just best team on today.
And real quick, Pat, do you see anyone stopping Laval?
We'll see next week, I guess. Hopefully they show what good of a team they are next weekend that they showed here today.
Thanks, Pat. Sid.
Glenn Sheeler, thank you very much, and Patrick Callan, thank you very much as well. Walter takes the feed, and he is eventually taken down on the play. Patrick Callan, a fifth-year kid. This is always an emotional time for any student athlete. Final game, you're aware of the results. It's winding down. Obviously an emotional time for a lot of these Calgary Dinos. Callan, one of the older gentlemen, but you could just see the emotion right there and what this means. Forget the score was his message. This is an experience he'll remember for the rest of his life.
Definitely, even though they're down by 50, but the atmosphere of him playing this probably his last football game he ever plays. That's tough for a young man to swallow right now, and to go out this way, it's very difficult as well too. Going back to that last play though, you know what? Where's that screen been all game? That's how you beat a good pass rush too. Dump the screen. They have something in this Matt Walter. He is quick. He's got great feet, breaks tackles. They have a lot to build on here in Calgary next year.
Walter only in his second year. The kid you see on the ground, you may recognize. He's the young man who had a tackle and a pick in the last series. It's Justin Morrow, number 17, the left half from Laval, a fourth-year kid out of Shedden, Ontario. And you can see his head took a bit of a beating on the way down as he came through the scrum.
Like that last shot showed his knee getting hit. It looks like probably an MCL type injury of some
his
sort.
knee got wrapped up there. You know what? This is a tough thing. He was on top of the world about 10 minutes ago, and now they're carrying him off. We wish Justin Morrow the best. And you talk about a roller coaster of emotions to end this Uteck Bowl for that young man. He's certainly going through them, and hopefully it's not as serious as that looks. First and 10 for the Calgary Dinos on offense as they wrap up their 2008 season, a season that saw them go 5-3 in Canada West. Good enough for second with the tiebreak. Beat Regina, beat Simon Fraser on their way to this game. They were feeling very good about themselves, but they ran into an absolute monster today.
Yeah, that ball slipped out of Deke's hands there, but they played that coverage. Noel almost comes off that corner spot and makes a nice pick. They're cheating right now. Those corners are cheating and peeking into the box. I talked about that because they know Deke's got to throw the football downfield right now. This is the time when you start to see some more picks and some more turnovers.
Final spectator numbers are in. 12,132 is the total at Stat Peps today to watch the 2008 Uteck Bowl live on the score along with you. Over the middle, that was in heavy traffic, and that should have been a pick. Andre Saint-Amour drops it. Deke Jr. throwing that in heavy coverage. That will bring up third down, and the punt team led by Aaron
Deke threw that
Eichel.
down, but you can see the receiver slows down there, right? So Deke's throwing it to the spot. It's a little miscommunication, but like we said, those DBs right now are just sitting back looking for ball. They're being ball hawks right now, and that D-line is pinning their ears back and going after Deke.
3:53 and counting with the score 59-10. Here in Quebec City, the Laval Rouge have put in a performance for the ages that nearly blocked by Samuel Fournier. Kickoff is received. Heading left is Victor Tremblay. Fioli Godino is finally off the field on special teams after yeoman's work. And out comes backup Cesar Hernandez Sanchez.
Best name in football.
No disagreements here. He's looked also sharp at times today. I mean, this is a kid, should they need him, especially next year if Grew is indeed in the fold again, and he may indeed be. He's got a lot of skills, big kid.
Yeah, definitely. Laval is just going to keep recruiting. That's the thing when you become the top team in the country. People want to come and play for you. Good players want to play. You're going to compete against great athletes every practice. Makes you better. It gives you an opportunity to get better and maybe play at the next level in the CFL because of the talent that's here at Laval.
Hand off to the fullback, Samuel Fournier. Third-year player out of L'École Quebec. One of the backups on offense right now, getting in his time. And Andrea Bonaventura in on the tackle. Bonaventura, we mentioned how inexperienced the Calgary team is, and that really is good looking forward. Bonaventura, defensive player of the year in Canada West, only in his third year.
Yeah, exactly. Sat out last year because of transferring. Followed Blake Mill from St. Mary's. First year starting. They have some talent on this football team. They're building on it today. They're learning from it. They'll be a force next year again in Can West.
Second down for the Rouge Aor, a second down and 9. Hernandez Sanchez out of the shotgun. Quick handoff up the middle. Maxime Ballon, right side. Got a lot of room. Came off tackle, cut back right. Brett Ferguson hauling him down, but not after he picked up a first down.
Yeah, we talked about that O-line, but look what happens. You get that zone play. D-line takes it to the left. Oh, sees that hole, cut back. But I loved it. He switches his hands through the hole there and gains a big hole. But that's what the zone play enables Belon to do. He can go front side, back side, or cut it back. And he does a nice job right there, cutting back, switches the ball. Big gain. But like we said, it's just, you know, you can plug in whatever running back you want here. It seems like it's that O-line that's so dominant here at Laval.
They're 4 deep, and you throw the fullback in the mix, he can run as well. First and 10, here is the fullback, Fournier. Another short gain up the middle, give him 4 yards. Some late pushing and shoving on the play. To Calgary's credit, we haven't seen too much of that. Not a lot of chippiness at all. They've settled in on what this result is, and there you see Patrick Callan, who Glenn Sheeler talked to earlier. The final minutes of his CIS football career, and an emotional time for him. You could hear it in the interview with Glenn. He was actually very candid, and when you heard him talk, you saw a leader on that team, and you know what he means to them. And down the road, you know, the loss will be tough to swallow, but he'll appreciate this experience like a lot of players say.
The candidness and the innocence of him, you know, just hearing him talk about the experience here. He talks about the experience, and that's what you always talk about, not the win or loss, but that experience of how you felt, the atmosphere, you know. Oh, obviously he didn't want to go out this way, no one ever does, but it just shows that he is a true leader. You know, they're going to come back. They got a lot of young kids. We talked about this, and they get Tulsa back, another quarterback. So there's 2 other monster quarterbacks, 2 other monster running backs next year as well.
James Green is going to be back to punt. James Green is going to go into his 5th year. He'll turn into one of the real leaders on that team. To go along with DJ Odewole. Odewole only in his 3rd year. There is Green, number 1. 23 tackles during the regular season. Callan is leaving that defense in good hands, it certainly looks like. And don't be surprised if Blake Neal continues to get this Dino team to learn and progress. This only being the 3rd year, it's been quite the progression for the Dino football program, and Coach Neal deserves a lot of credit for that. Green takes it at his 5. Always a dicey proposition with the Laval special teams. And we have a Gatorade. We have a Gatorade. Coach Glenn Constantine is all wet, but he's all smiles. We're going to take a break, let him dry off, and wrap it up from Laval after this.
Happens to lots of guys. While you sleep, your skin can dehydrate. Prepare to defeat dry skin with new Gillette Dry Skin Hydrator and Body Wash. It combines a deep cleaning body wash with 3 times the hydrators for a powerful defense against dry skin. You'll step out of the shower feeling like you can take on your day. New Gillette 2-in-1 Dry Skin Hydrator and Body Wash. Unleash the power of your shower. Gillette, the best a man can get.
What's that? A Rocket Mobile Internet stick from Rogers. Lets you take the internet with you. Prove it.
See? I can download music here. Bank online here. Check email here. Watch streaming video here, even here. Nice.
Get the Rocket Mobile Internet stick on Canada's fastest mobile network. Act now and get the stick for free.
Introducing Braun Series 7. The world's first shaver with pulsonic technology. Its oscillating head with over 10,000 micropulses per minute gives you incredibly smooth skin. The Series 7, one of Braun's perfectly smooth gifts.
You can't control when you get a cold sore, but you can help get rid of it fast with non-prescription Abreva. It's the #1 pharmacist-recommended cold sore remedy. Abreva is the only cold sore treatment that prevents entry of the virus into surrounding cells, limiting its ability to spread. When applied at the first sign of a cold sore, Abreva is clinically proven to speed healing. So don't suffer from a cold sore longer than you have to. Help get rid of it fast with clinically proven Abreva. This has been Medifax for Abreva.
Welcome back to Quebec City, where the party has begun. Benoit Groux and the Laval Rouge are preparing to head to a Vanier Cup they've won 4 previous times before, like a well-oiled machine, the Rouge, when they get to the big game, do not disappoint. Walter the carry there with 1:38 and counting on the clock. There's been a steady diet of Gatorade showers and impromptu dousings on that Laval sideline. Hopefully Glenn Sheeler stays dry. He still has some work to do. But the mood has changed drastically, and it happened with about 2 and change to go. That sideline was very subdued, opposed for most of this afternoon, but the party has certainly begun.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Constantine minds the Gatorade, but I think he wants one more Gatorade next week on him, you know? And it's going to be tough for either one of those teams, Western or St. Mary's. This team is well coached, well balanced. And they're still playing football right now.
The game is continuing. On the first Noel, Dominic Noel, big stick late in this football game.
Yeah, it's a great stick by Noel, but we got a late hit on Calgary here after the whistle too. It's unfortunate, but Dominic Noel comes back, ears pinned, and just
pop.
Great hit, goes through the receiver. That's what you want to do, right?
Nathan Colhorn is met.
And those hurt when you're losing and it's cold. Let me tell you what.
When you're losing big and it's cold, it's a lot worse.
It's unfortunate though.
With this, and I say roughness. Calgary, after the lead, half the distance to the goal line, they're done.
Yeah, he took a cheap shot at one of the Laval guys, which is unfortunate.
Let's take a look left of your screen, looking for it, and a real late hit, 62 on 62 on 52. Dylan Steenbergen, it appeared with the late hit. And maybe some frustration starting to boil over a bit on the Calgary side.
Dylan knows better. He's a top CFL prospect and Can West All-Star too. But you know what? Like, just some frustration. He's playing till the whistle basically, and sometimes things happen. Fortunately, the Laval player is okay.
Benoit Gru only had to play in the first half today. There's Steenbergen, 9th-ranked CFL prospect at last count. And there's a lot of scouts drooling over the 6'5", 285er out of Lethbridge, Alberta. He will get a shot in the bigs. Unfortunately, his CIS career ends with a rather large loss, but this young man has a bright future ahead of him. The backup QB is in, 15, Casey Brown. That is onto the hands of Taylor Altalio, and he can't pull it in. 1:16 left in the 2008 Uteck Bowl. Deke Jr. actually is out there, excuse me. St. Mary's Western. Who will Laval take on in next Saturday's Vanier? We'll begin to find out at 3:30 p.m. Eastern when we play the Mitchell Bowl. That's when kickoff happens. Tim McAuliffe, Mike Morielli, DJ Bennett will have the call in what is apparently a slightly snowy London, Ontario.
It should be an interesting football game, you know, with the snow out there. Michael Folds, a great quarterback. Western, another high-powered offense, you know. St. Mary's, you know, I think they thought they'd have a better season, even though they're where they're at, expected to win bigger, I think, with some scores, dominate some teams, which it didn't, but they didn't have the quarterback situation. They had a rookie quarterback in Creighton from Hamilton starting today.
Time to take knees, people. Hernandez Sanchez down on 1.
You know what, this is a class move because we could talk about that record right now. Coach Constantine could go for that record and stuff, but this is a class move. He and Blake Mill are good friends and they'll coach each other. You know, Blake Mill's had, you know, he's 2-5 now against Coach Constantine, so Glenn's got the upper hand on him right now.
The record for points in a bowl game is 60. They're sitting at 59 and could care less. They're going to leave it as is. The Laval flag is flying high at Stade Pep Stadium today as they took the Canada West champion Calgary Dinos and did whatever they wanted to them. It was impressive. It was relentless. It was at times violent. And in the end, it was a winning performance. 24 seconds on the clock. Hernandez Sanchez will take one final knee and end one of the truly great bowl performances we have ever seen in CIS football. Benoit Gru led the charge. A near flawless first half performance, and his boys did the rest. The dejected faces on the Calgary sideline say it all. It's a tough way to end, but you have a feeling they'll be back.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we did a great job getting over Canada West this year. We discussed all game. The second half was coaching, teaching for next year. Blake Mills saw some positive things out of Deke Jr., some positive things out of the defense. The running game was established somewhat. That's what you got to take, right? They just got caught in this Laval buzzsaw right off the bat. They set that tone with that first play. You know, we expected a run. We all expected some type of run or a zone run. You know, and they came out big plays in that first quarter, set the tone, and you know, Calgary needed to get off that fast start. But congratulations to Laval Rouge. Showed why they're the #1 ranked team in the nation from the beginning.
This was Benoit Grouste and Laval. The Rouge are heading back to the Vanier Cup. A much different scene currently going on in Blake Neal's huddle, telling his kids to keep your head up, treat it as a learning experience. They were the better team today. There's not much else we could have done. But the way Blake Neal runs a program, there is a real feeling we're going to see these kids back. But that's the future. The present belongs to that man, Benoit Grouste, Player of the Year in Quebec, favorite to win the Heck Crichton, and the spotlight next week in Hamilton, without question, will shine brightest on Laval's #8.
Oh, definitely. You know, we talk about all the talent they have. But, you know, we talk about Benoit Grouste, but he's nothing without that O-line. That O-line is so dominant, and I don't know what Western or St. Mary's going to have to do to stop that O-line. They're so big, they're so physical, they're athletic. They make things happen on that offensive line. Like Benoit Grouste's been only sacked, like you said, 6 times all year. You know, and that's the difference in.
Let's head down to the field where Glenn Sheeler is standing by with a victorious Coach Constantine.
That's right, Sid. And Glenn, after losing in this game last year to St. Mary's, you said you guys learned a lot. How sweet is it now to have the opportunity to get back on top of Canadian football?
Oh, you know what? It was a long year for us. I told the people it was very difficult last year. We didn't recognize our team. We worked very, very hard. Kids have matured, and we're hoping to get back to where we need to be.
How do you contain the excitement with the guys, you know, for one more week?
Oh, you know what? They got a job to do, and they know what. Since we're in the playoff, I told our team we finished the job. So we got one more game. They understand. Hey, party tonight, and let's get back to work tomorrow.
Played a perfect game today, Coach. Can you do it again next week?
We'll try our best. We'll try our best.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Sid.
Glenn, thank you very much. And Glenn, thank you very much. Coach Glenn Constantine. The Laval Rouge are now in bowl games, improved to 4-0 when they play them here at Stat Peps. And it's a home field advantage few other programs have the luxury of enjoying.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about last year's game, and you know what? It's an advantage for St. Mary's, for teams to come out to Halifax. The time change is difficult for people. Big advantage, another big advantage here with Laval, with 12,000 fans here screaming right from the get-go. You know, it's a tough place to play. The atmosphere is fantastic. You know, it's the premier place to play football right now in Canada.
The Rouge improved to 11-0. One more win next week, and they're Vanier Cup champs. We're going to take a break, but stick around. We're just getting underway. More live coverage from Laval after this. You're watching University Rush live on the Score Television Network.
Good morning, sir.
Pump number 3.
Hey, come again.
Stop paying more than you have to. Hyundai makes some of the most fuel-efficient vehicles in Canada, like the Sonata from just $17,995, or the fuel-efficient Accent from just $9,995. Less money on gas means more money for you.
Hey, one please.
Who the heck is Desjardins?
With over $100 billion in assets, Desjardins is the largest cooperative financial group in Canada and a proud sponsor of Canadian inter-university sport.
Red Bull Crashed Ice 2009 is now drafting athletes. can make the cut? Register at redbullcrashdice.ca.
Put the power of the Oral-B experts in your hands. Oral-B Triumph with Smart Guide. Its wireless monitor helps you brush better. Its floss action head cleans deep to help reverse gingivitis. Put their power behind your smile. Oral-B Triumph with Smart Guide.
Deep in color, warm toffee aromas, finishes smooth with a hint of spice and oak. And that's just my mustache.
Welcome to the Wiserhood.
True to life color. Sweet contrast. Awesome clarity. The Score HD, presented by Panasonic. Ideas for life.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by your man D and your man Cabby. Cabby Unlimited Season 3, only on The Score, 7 p.m. Eastern. Peace!
University Rush on The Score is brought to you by your local Mitsubishi dealers. Come visit us today and test drive the best backed cars in the world. By Desjardins, proud to be the official partner of Canadian Inter-University Sport. It's more than a bank. It's the largest cooperative financial group in Canada. By Russell, for those of you who have what it takes on the inside, Russell has what it takes on the outside. By Fisherman's Friend, Canada's favorite throat lozenges to keep you cheering. And by Pioneer, service driven since 1956. Pioneer Petroleums. Earn bonus bucks at Pioneer Petroleums to spend on fuel, snacks, and more. Points are pointless. Bonus bucks are better.
Welcome back to Stade Peps. Final score in the 2008 Uteck Bowl: Laval 59, Calgary 10. Let's now send it down field side for the post-game award ceremony.
Le voyage organisé la semaine prochaine au Iverwin Stadium de Hamilton pour la Vanier Cup. 14h. Vous avez jusqu'à 17h mardi. 6-5-6 foot. OK, maintenant, mesdames, messieurs, voici les présentations d'après-match. La remise, dans un premier temps, du trophée du joueur du match, the most valuable player of the game. Il va recevoir une montre et j'invite le directeur du marketing de sport interuniversitaire canadien, M. Peter Metozels, à faire la remise en même temps que notre fondateur, M. Maurice Tanguay, qui va remettre avec M. Metozels le trophée du joueur du match. Alors, le joueur du match, M. Metozels va remettre la montre au numéro 8 du Rouge, M. Benoît Gros. Benoît Gros, le joueur du match, most valuable player of today's game. Une montre de Peter Metozels, le sport interuniversitaire canadien. Mesdames et messieurs, the most valuable player, le joueur du match, Benoît Gros. Et maintenant, j'invite M. Tanguay. Now, M. Tanguay, along with Mr. Metozels, vont présenter le trophée de la Coupe Uteck au capitaine. J'invite les capitaines du Rouge et Or ici avec moi, à côté de M. Tanguay. Alors, j'invite Jean-Philippe Gilbert, Luc Brodeur, Benoît Gros, Mathieu Leblanc, Mathieu Parent. Mesdames et messieurs, les gagnants de la Coupe Uteck, de Uteck Bowl Champions de Rouge et Or. Le Rouge et Or retourne à la Coupe gagnée. Uteck qui s'en va à la Coupe Vanier est en train de gagner la 5e Coupe Vanier de son histoire. Merci, mesdames, messieurs, d'avoir été.
To the victor go the spoils. Let's get more reaction. Let's head it down field side where Glenn Sheeler is standing by with the player of today's game. Glenn?
That's right, Sid. Benoit Gros, player of the game, player of the half. Didn't even play the second half. Had an outstanding first half, though. What does it say about this team that you guys win a Uteck Bowl by 49 points?
I think we learned from our mistakes from last year. We had a tough loss against St. Mary's, and our coaches want us to come out strong, and that's what we did today.
The 75% completion pass, a CIS record, the numbers you put up all year, 2 interceptions, the way you played today. Sometimes, do you surprise yourself how successful you are out there?
Yeah, sure, it's kind of a surprise, but with the receiver we got and our O-line's doing a great job. It's just my job to do my reads, and everyone's doing his part. So it's doing my job a little bit easier. Yeah.
Laval has never lost the Vanier Cup, 4-0. Any more pressure on you guys to finish the deal here this year?
Well, it's always a pressure. When you get to the Vanier, you want to win this game. The last one I played was in Saskatchewan, under 25. It was really cold. It's always tough condition, but we'll be ready for the game.
How are you going to celebrate the Uteck Bowl and then contain that excitement for maybe another week?
We're focused for the Vanier. I'm not worried about that. Guys will celebrate tonight, but we'll be back on business on Monday.
Thanks a lot, Benoit. Great season, and we'll see you this week in Hamilton.
Thank you very much.
Sid?
Glenn, thank you very much. We're going to step aside quickly. We're going to wrap up our Uteck Bowl coverage, plus get you ready for the Mitchell Bowl. That's straight ahead. To the victor go the spoils. They will now prepare to test their mettle in the Steel City next week. More from Laval after this.
Hey, one please.
Who the heck is Desjardins?
With over $100 billion in assets, Desjardins is the largest cooperative financial group in Canada and a proud sponsor of Canadian inter-university sport.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC.
What you got there, PC?
Oh, just something I'm trying out. See, we're officially going to stop referring to my operating system by name.
You mean Vista?
Sorry, I didn't hear you there. What'd you say?
Vista?
See, we don't say the V word anymore. Doesn't sit well with frustrated PC users. From now on, we're going to use a word with a lot less baggage. Windows.
Yeah, but Windows is PC. Don't you think people are going to see through that? Not saying the word Vista is not the same as fixing Vista problems. Vista.
Oh.
Welcome back. The Uteck Bowl is in the books. Here are the final numbers, Larry, courtesy of Mitsubishi, and they really do tell the story.
Yeah, the 515 yards of offense per average. They blew that out of the water again today, 540 almost. And unbelievable game by Laval. They showed why they are the #1 team in the nation.
Sid Cixero, Larry Justanis on the field. Glenn Sheeler working hard today, doing a great job in inclement weather, to say the least. Let's talk about Benoit Gros. And this is a guy who Glenn said, he made a great point. He won player of the game today, played 2 quarters, 11 of 12, 249 yards, a couple of touchdowns, also scored another. A lot of the attention will be focused on him this coming week in Hamilton, not just as a quarterback for Laval, as the favorite, but also as a man who could win the Heck Crichton. Where does he sit right now in terms of some of the best quarterbacks you've ever seen?
Oh, I think he's in the right system as well, too. You know, there's some great quarterbacks that have come through the Canadian ranks, but with Benoit Gros, it starts with that O-line, right? You know, University of Calgary talked about it earlier. They needed to put pressure on him. They couldn't do it. A lot of pitch and catch for him. Easy completions. Guys are wide open down the field, too. The thing about Benoit Gros, he makes great decisions. Gets that first read, doesn't like it, gets that second read, gets that third read, and that's why he's a successful quarterback.
The Laval D, also a big part of today's game. Glenn Sheeler standing by with one of the hearts of that front four. Glenn?
Yes, it's Etienne Ligari. Another great game. I'm nominated this year for Lineman of the Year. Did you expect this, a 49-point win today?
Oh, no, definitely not. we are thinking that it should be a game more tight than that, and so we are very happy to the score.
What I noticed when you guys are even up 40, 49 points and you give up first downs, you guys are coming off the field upset, having meetings, talking about adjustments. What is it about this team that just doesn't want to give up anything?
So it was a very good team, and we have a lot of adjustment after the demi, and that's it. Yeah. We have a good plan. Bon plan de match, and we play a great team.
Thanks, Etienne. Good luck in the Vanier next week. See you in Hamilton.
Thanks.
All right, Glenn, thank you very much. Let's now head to London for the Mitchell Bowl between Western and St. Mary's. DJ Bennett, Mike Morielli, and Tim McAuliffe has the call as University Rush's Sunday doubleheader continues. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tim McAuliffe, take it away.